We'll sip our worries away, nice and slow. Your laughter ripples like sweet warm wine. In this jazzy sultry space, you're mine. The saxophone croons a velvet tune, while melodies dance beneath the moon. We'll toast to moments both grand and small, in this hazy, lazy, jazz-touched hall. Let's sit together in the mellow night. We'll drink to love till the morning light. Every glass we raise a promise true. Here's to the magic in a drink with you. They sparkle with every click, sweet rendezvous over a simple drink. We'll share our secrets in whispers low, just you and me where the jazz flows slow. The world outside fades into the mist, but here it's our own dreamy tryst. With each sip our worries drift away. Let's stay together till the break of day. So let's sit together in the mellow night. We'll drink to love till the morning light. Every glass we raise a promise true. Here's to the magic in a drink with you.
The following live stream has been approved for appropriate audiences. It may contain occasional strong language and may not be suitable for younger or more sensitive viewers. Viewer inebriation is advised, though not mandatory.
Good evening, happy Friday, and welcome to Last Call, where we pour one out for our childhood innocence, because apparently it died screaming in a dark theater. Let's be real, not every scar came from Freddy Krueger. Some came from children's movies, the ones our parents propped us in front of. This'll keep them quiet. Spoiler, it kept us quiet because we were too busy dissociating. Take Watership Down. Parents see bunnies on the cover and go, "Aw, adorable." Next thing you know, rabbits are getting gassed, stabbed, drowned in blood. I still side-eye every rabbit I see like it's plotting revenge. Should have read the book, Mom. Brave Little Toaster, appliances singing about death in a junkyard. That's existential therapy I never signed up for. So tonight, raise your glass to the films that didn't just scare us, they rewired our tiny brains. What movie broke you as a kid? Drop it in the chat. Let's relive the trauma together, responsibly. Canarble Wagon Rolls right now.
Last Call is streamed before a live audience.
I actually had a segment planned where I was going to talk about the Neverending Story and the Swamp of Sorrow, and I decided, nah, we've already talked about that, which is a shame because I kind of liked what I said.
We could always do another stream sometime where we just talk about screwed up children's movies, all right?
We could.
Keep it on the back burner, but yeah.
I'm looking at you, Veruca Balk. I mean, that was I mean, although it was very accurate to the source material, it was still pretty traumatizing. Netter pointed out earlier today, talking about just vanilla as read Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, and I'm like, yeah, that was some pretty trippy stuff. And when you start reading into the real world history behind it, it gets super, super creepy. So talk about being a little messed up. Hey, welcome everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. Happy Friday, all of you. You guys all know what I'm sipping on. If you watched my liquid lunch today, I went with the very traditional original pina colada, which is more like a milkshake with rum in it. And it's well, Netter, what do you think of it?
The initial version that you made for me before you put in all the extra pineapple bits.
Yeah.
I think I liked it a little bit better. Although I do like the thickness of this one better.
Yeah, okay. So here's the behind the kitchen
and
thing.
It needs more ice cream.
More ice cream? Okay, fair enough. I went equal parts ice cream and the coconut cream.
Yeah.
So I had gotten a bunch of I got a can of crushed pineapple, and my original goal was, I put just the amount of pineapple that I want into it, just the right amount of the pineapple juice that I wanted. Didn't really go as far as I wanted. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to use the rest of this crushed pineapple. I'm doing it in a blender anyway, so that'll juice it just fine. Your mileage may vary on that, but as Netter points out, it does thicken it up considerably. Very, very fruity. I used a lot of coconut rum in this, and Netter's not a big drinker, and she's not tasting the booze. I'm barely tasting the booze. So
I'm tasting it a bit.
I'm,
it was like,
I'm wondering how hard this is going to hit us. We'll see as the stream goes on. But Boomer, what are you sipping on tonight?
I'm sipping on a mucho mango.
Okay, that's kind of in the theme here. Yeah, that kind of works.
You once said that's cultural appropriation. Remember when
Did I really?
Yeah, it's the first time I had on a stream, and then I brought it up with Mexican Iron Man when he was guesting one night.
Oh, mucho, because
anyway, never mind. I thought it was funny when you said it. Maybe it's anyway. But you got some interesting things in the chat going on. People,
I find very oftentimes that I find myself laughing at things I said, not realizing it was something that I said. I'm like, oh, that's very funny. Oh, I said it. Well,
Yes.
It's so funny. I make myself laugh because I forget that I said it.
Yes.
3 drive-by likes.
Well,
Thank you so much, Lynn Green. Hey, if you really want to push it, you could go like it on X, and you could like it on the Green Machine as well. You don't have to. You've already done enough. Super, super appreciate you just being here tonight. So glad you are. The star of Fluff Chick Productions, Connie Cleary, welcome. So good to see you here. JPRPH1, howdy. Good to see you, my friend. Now, Kapla, here I are, home from surgery and resting. Hey, Don Pacelli, just call me Lefty. Yeah, he has had some surgery on his hand, and it kind of creeps me out. But he's saying, yeah, it's pretty standard, pretty normal stuff. I'm like, as long as it helps you in the long run, he's gonna have to be going for therapy, physical therapy, right? The kind at the end of a long corridor with circles at the end. Got to practice. Nate says, like, share, subscribe, come in and become a member. And if you were going to give a super chat of $5 or more, why not make it a gifted membership instead to make our family grow? I would appreciate being able to grow the family back to where we started the year at 100 members. We have kind of eroded that, and it's pretty rough. Netter is here. She is saying hi to
Hello.
Sweeties. Deleted scenes, salute, my friend. Good to see you. You were watching with this guy here, Big Al Presents, Friday the 13th, Part 6, The New Beginning. We're going to be talking a little bit more about Friday the 13th a little bit later tonight. Netter's also asking you to do all the clicky things. I should have actually read the comment when I had it up. Hello, my friends. I hope everyone has a wonderful evening. Have a great show. Thank you so much, my friend. Let's see here. You guys all saying hi to each other, which lets me know what a great community we have here. Robert's Infinite Realms. Good to see you, my friend. What's up, people who party? We are partying because I like pina coladas and getting drunk off my ass. That's what we're planning for tonight. And I'm getting ready to drive down. Well, not having, drunk a pina colada and then driving. When I sober up, I will be driving down to Florida to meet up with this guy over here and a bunch of other YouTube celebrities for MegaCon next week. Yes, pain meds wearing off. Yin de ajme or oi yish ik. To understand life, endure pain. Or the more traditional English of that is life is pain. Gomez Adams, blowing up trains on TV broke me because mom would wash my mouth out because I would cuss at the TV. Saw him once at an event and told him about it. He actually apologized. That's kind of cool. So you met
Raul Julia.
Oh, was it Raul Julia or John Aston? Yeah.
I didn't even think about it.
Yeah. Both would be awesome. Both of those guys are people I would have loved to have met. And sadly, I can now meet neither. Well, maybe one day I will, I suppose, from a certain point of view. Happy Friday to you as well. Daniel Berry, Sports Highlights. Good to see you. The movie that screwed me up as a child because I had no business watching it at 9 years old.
Yep.
The original Night of the Living Dead. My brother was watching it. I was supposed to be in bed, but I was out in the dark hallway watching the movie through the door. I couldn't sleep for 3 weeks.
Yeah, I have a similar story. I mean, I have a similar type of movie to talk about on my list. Yeah. It's.
I have a number of movies that were not on my list that definitely scarred me for life, but not in the horrific kind of way where I couldn't sleep. Movies I should not have been watching. Let's just say that my dad really enjoyed Cinemax late night Fridays and Saturdays.
My Tutor.
Oh God, I love that movie. Mm-hmm. Sylvia Crystal, right?
I think so. I'm not sure. I'm trying to remember now. She was the French tutor for the summer. Remember, she's hired. Yes. Okay. Anyway.
Just wow. Absolutely. Pina coladas can be hit or miss. Welcome, the Horror Cat Dad. Yeah, like I said during the stream this afternoon, I'm certainly not a sweet drink kind of guy. And even less so the cream, especially if there's dairy being brought into it, type drinks. Was not going to be putting any whipped cream on top of this. That's just a dessert. It's just ridiculous.
We got whipped cream.
Yeah, but not for this. We'll use up the ice cream later with the whipped cream, but not yet. No.
Whipped cream and some chocolate sprinkles.
I got those too. Yeah, absolutely. When I was 12, I saw John Carpenter's The Thing on cable. After that, nothing really phases me. That's fair. That is absolutely fair. All practical effects. Amazing. I'm sipping on a Polar root beer. That's awesome. That is awesome. Let's see. Jason Lives. That's right. And welcome, Jamie Lynn. Good to see you. Those movies were really... Oh, yeah, John Aston. Okay, cool. Yeah, oh, gosh. So that would be Addams Family. That would be the Riddler. Yeah. just amazing. And really just anything he was in. He did a lot of guest shots on TV, a lot, and I liked him in everything he did. I know Netter's Network is not like Trilogy of Terror. Yeah, I get why people would be freaked out by that, but it never really did anything for me.
Was that the Zuni fetish doll?
Yeah.
I remember that movie. Yes. The
first movie that really got under my skin that I should not have been watching was the original My Bloody Valentine from 1981. That one still creeps me out.
It's creepy.
Was that the one? No, the one I'm thinking about was a Christmas movie.
No, it's the guy in the miner's suit, the coal mine suit with the gas mask.
Then I don't know. Yeah.
No,
I guess I never saw it.
It's pretty good. It's where the guy's all excited because he gets a Valentine's box. The only thing I love more than Christmas candy is Valentine's candy. He opens it up and there's an actual heart inside. He freaks out.
I mean,
Plus, he's wrong. Easter candy is the best candy.
I mean, I think all the different holiday candies are great, especially right after the holiday when you get it all half off, right?
Good point. I got to get some pastel color.
Welcome, Mikey Suze. Good to see you. If I ever watch Exorcist or The Omen again, I'm done. Period. Put a pin in those. We'll get back to those.
Actually, the thing is, they're not as scary anymore. It's like when we were kids and we watched them. You watch them as an adult, it's like, okay, what was supposed to be scary about this again? Okay, the kid's a brat. Someone needs to put him over their knee and give him a spanking.
We'll get to those when.
Do you know that there's a whole? We'll get into it when we'll get into it. There's a theory about the Omen where there's nothing paranormal actually going on. I'll explain it to you later. Okay.
Okay. Wait. John Aston was in a couple of episodes of Briscoe County Jr. playing a forgetful mad scientist who built the first rocket. Oh, that's pretty cool. Took Julie to see Starship Troopers not long after we were married. She hasn't let me forget it. That one creeped her out. Yeah, the big giant bugs. Yeah, that's pretty rough. Plus, some of those practical effects of people being like torn apart and losing limbs and stuff like that. That's pretty tough. Yeah.
Is Mars Attacks the ones with the giant Martian head? That one was creepy as shite.
Yeah. And that's a comedy. That's not even a scary movie.
I didn't even see it as a comedy.
Well, kind of a dark comedy, but yes.
It was creepy.
Refilling my glass already, guys.
That needs an Arrow Blu-ray. Is Mars Attacks Arrow? Get on that one. That one needs a decent edition.
Can't we all just get along? I feel like saying that to our current administration. For crying.
Well,
me and Suzanne's favorite horror film of all time, Drew Goddard and Joss Whedon's Cabin in the Woods. So the members, we all just watched The Evil Dead on Monday.
Yes.
A prequel to
which is literally the prototypical Cabin in the Woods movie. So yeah.
Does it feature a cabin in the woods? I'm kidding. Of course it does.
Of course it does. So now, Boomer, would you like to bring up, I guess it would, for you, it would be this direction. Bring up.
I'm going to click the thing and see if it works. Let's see.
Go ahead. There you go. See? Now you know. Okay, so guys, just a little peek behind the curtain here. I'm making sure that because I tend to do all the production type stuff, which can get dicey the more I drink. And I said to Boomer, I said, maybe you should be practicing this a little bit so that you can, take care of geeky geezers and everything while I'm out.
Yeah. So on the weekend that they're out, I'm going to do Geeky Geezers. I'm going to have Steven's going to join them, and I got to put out a word to Big Al maybe after Monday. I'll see if he wants to pop by as well. All right.
Mm-hmm.
The movies that scarred us. Now I had to look up the spelling. Scarred is not scared.
So scarred. Although the two do tend to go together.
Yes, because like I said,
in order to be scarred by it, you kind of need to be scared, but that's a level of
yes.
scare that, or see,
or disgusted.
I would argue that whatever scars you on some level scares you, but it doesn't have to be your typical horror scare. It could just be something that gets into your brain, and just we'll get into it as we go. Yeah.
Like when I'm thinking back to my childhood, I'm thinking back to 8 years old or younger with these movies. Okay, like no,
wait a minute.
What?
I shouldn't laugh because children, you get thoughts as a kid. But Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory made my sister afraid to eat blueberries. Well, so I made this comment to my mom when I was a kid because I loved blueberries, But if you eat blueberries in any quantity, and I don't mean blueberry pie, I don't mean blueberry ice cream or some other pastry or something like that. I mean just straight blueberries. I would take a whole pint of blueberries and just eat the whole thing in one sitting. Of course, it makes your lips all purple, black, blue, and your tongue, right? Okay, that's fine. It's what it does to your gut. Just think about Donkey when he was talking about the berries that he ate, right? It tends to do not nice things to your digestive system. And so I was watching one of the many times we had watched Willy Wonka, and that scene comes up. I said, yep, blueberries will do that to you. They'll do that to you. My mother was like, she looked at me like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, right? And she's like, okay, I see what you're saying. Best feature spoiler of Cabin: the world itself dies when the Ancient One giants rise after seeing a giant CGI hand smashing through the cabin. Yeah, exactly. God, you guys. Poltergeist movies gave me the creeps. Yeah, well, we'll get into that too. You guys are all getting way, way ahead of me.
I was in Poltergeist 3.
Mm-hmm. Netter was in Poltergeist 3. Troy, I think the term you're looking for is bubble guts. Yeah, something like that. Anyway, so let's get to it. The movies that scarred us.
Yeah, so let's go to. I'll start off with my pick. I go first. All right, since my movie is the oldest on the list, though I don't. They're not in order they came out though. And frankly, I think as far as the order of my list, I actually saw this one last out of the ones I have on the list. But it's actually an older movie from 1972. First, before we get to my movie, that's my picture.
Were a kid.
Funny man. No. I tried crying redhead kid in front of a TV in the 1980s, and it gave me that image. I did make it black and white because for some reason it made the static orange, which made no sense to me. But do you notice what's on top of the TV? What the AI came up with? That looks like an Atari controller on top of the TV.
There you go.
But anyway, this was many of us. And of course, my first pick is Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things. I was reading Nate's comment on Night of the Living Dead. Now, I saw Night of the Living Dead when I was a bit older than when I saw this movie, so maybe that would have had a similar impact on me. But my first introduction to zombies is Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things. Have you ever seen this one?
I have not.
The great Bob Clark.
I think I only ever heard about it from you.
Yeah, Bob Clark, director of Christmas Story and Porky's, made this movie. This might have been his directorial debut. And the plot of the movie is experiencing the unexpected terror of rising, rotting flesh. Look at this VHS. I picked VHS because that's how I experienced it. I was over a friend of the family's house, and they were showing the guy rented it and stuck it in the VCR, and I was watching it. This is technically a PG movie. Because back in the 70s, everything was PG. Like Deliverance was PG, from what I remember.
I'm glad you brought it up first, because if you hadn't, I was going to on some of my movies. Some of the movies when we were kids were PG. I noticed somebody said something about Jaws. Jaws was PG.
Yep.
I'm trying to remember. Poltergeist was PG. Wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
In fact, several of the movies that were on my list were PG, and that implies that that it's probably acceptable for children with parental guidance. Well, I always had parental guidance at that age because my mother wouldn't just drop me off at the theater, but they still ended up scarring me.
So yeah, so the plot of this movie. This is a theater troupe, like actors, and this is the guy.
They're clearly hippies. Do they all get killed? That's fine.
Well, they look like actors would have looked like in the early '70s with their weird clothes and the bell bottoms. You know what I mean? It's not that unusual.
Hippies.
This head guy, though, no, his father owns the theater, so he basically says you have to do whatever I tell you to, or you can go find another job. This is not a democracy; it's a feudal system. But unlike the serfs of old, you can just quit and walk away, but then you don't have the job. So he says you're going to come with me on this little excursion to an island outside the outskirts of a city, which may be New York or Chicago, an area like that. There's an island. And this is the island where they buried all the criminals in the unhallowed ground, all the murderers and whatnot that couldn't get proper Christian burials, right? They're all buried out here. Okay. And he decides, let's have fun and let's dig up one of the corpses. And I have a book I bought, an old grimoire. Do you know what those are?
Yes, Latu Barada Nicto. Yeah, exactly.
Basically, yeah. It's basically a book, and he starts, demanding the lords of darkness or Satan or whatever. I want to raise the dead, and he's doing all this ceremony, and then nothing happens until something does happen. Guess what happens?
Exactly. The dead come back,
and it takes a while in this movie for this to happen. I would say at least 3/4 of the movie is just them messing around. And, of course, there are little jump scares, like he has some other actors in the troupe pretend to be corpses and go after them, and they scream, and then it turns out it's just other actors that he forced to be on this little prank with him. And but when the zombies first, it probably is on TV. When the zombies show up, it's terrifying.
Yeah.
Because it's not even like the Romero zombies, which I assume are the natural world and part of the natural organism. These are like supernaturally resurrected zombies, and they look rotting. They look like actual rotting corpses, because a lot of the zombies in the Romero movies, they're more recently dead, so they don't have the rotting flesh as much, right? So
exactly,
this movie freaked me out. I think I had nightmares about being stuck on an island and about the dead coming, trying to go, because of course they found an abandoned house on the island, and of course the zombies are trying to get in. And I know some would argue, well, it's a ripoff of the island. Well, yes and no. Who cares? Look at that zombie. Does that freak you out? That's the guy they dig
I
up
would
off
have
the
thought
ground.
that was somebody who was getting ready to go to a Rocky Horror Picture Show filming, screening, but whatever.
It's freaking me out. And of course, the main hero of the group, you see he's going to run out and try and get help or get to the boat or something. And the next scene you see, they shine a light on him, and then he's being eaten by one of the living dead. Like she's eating the guts out of his stomach. This isn't a PG movie. I guess they didn't show enough for it to make it into an R. But I'm freaking out with this. I vaguely remember this movie. I think it was in Bob's Drive-In. It probably was. This is a creeper.
Yep.
And the funny thing about it is we just have a great villain in this movie. What was his name? Hold on. Children shouldn't play with dead things. He basically, you ever run into kids growing up, and maybe they're smart kids, but they always have to prove how smart they are and always have the last word and things like that. Yeah, his name is Alan, played by Alan Ormsby. And he's always has to be cleverer than everybody, and he's just an all-around dick, basically. That's what I'm gonna say. And he kind of gets his comeuppance at the end. There's a terrifying scene at the end where the zombie dug up and pretended to marry and was having, they were all fooling around with it. It ends up being resurrected with the other one in this room, and he locks himself in the room after everyone else is killed, and he's spoiling the end. And then he's in there, and then of course this guy attacks him, and then suddenly you see that, and then the door busts open, and the other zombies walk in the room, and they all gather. And I'm freaking out already, and the music and the slow mo, and it's like, this is it.
How old were you when this movie came out?
Well, this isn't 72. This came out before I was born, but I saw it, I think, when I was around 8 or so, okay?
Okay.
And I think, because here's the thing. This is something y'all don't get. Or maybe you do. I don't know. But when you're a kid and the older teens want to watch a horror movie and you're in the room with them because your mom said, hey, they can look after each other because it's the 80s and there
Right.
isn't as much parental supervision.
Right.
You don't want to be the chicken, do you?
Right.
You don't want to say, I don't want to watch it. It's scary. No, they'll look down on you. You'll never live it down. So you got to grin and bear it. Okay. And, like I said, it takes a while for anything to really happen, but when it does, yikes! It's
Mhm.
and this was my first introduction to the modern zombie, and it freaked me out, and it still does. It's still a great movie. I think they're right. You can catch it on Tubi. So I was kind of feeling Nate's comment with Night of the Living Dead.
Oh yeah.
Night of the Living Dead I avoided for a while, but I think around 10 or 11 I found it in a $5 bin and I bought it, and my life was changed after that. Love Night of the Living Dead.
That's one of those movies that it's not your typical horror movie in that I don't really feel like the jump scares and the adrenaline and all that kind of gets you. I think there's much more existential dread to it.
It's a build too, like
Yeah.
like you get pauses. Whereas this movie feels like one long pause with a couple jump scares, which are kind of stupid jump scares, but that's kind of the point. And then I think you and the audience are almost doubting anything's going to happen. And then when stuff happens, it's like, oh no, it's on. And
Yeah,
this is really for
exactly.
real. The satanic spell or whatever they did worked. And then, like, he's even trying to figure out a way to undo it, but they're missing something in the house that he can't fully do it. And then they think it worked, and then they go out to the woods, and then the zombies are hiding and they attack. It's just freaking me out. I'm spoiling the movie. I'm sorry, but it's well worth it. It's what we call a slow burn, but it's when you get to the end, it's terrifying. Oh wait, this dude looks like the dude in Carnival of Souls.
Yeah,
It could be the same actor for all I know. I don't know.
Your older brothers and sisters will destroy you if you
Yes,
show any
basically,
sign
yes. And I'm going to get to that a little later with another one of my picks. Yeah, okay, just because. But let's go to Troy's pick, and we have Jaws.
of. Okay, so I'm trying to remember. I must have seen this. I'm pretty sure I must have seen this one at a drive-in. I'm pretty sure I did. Summer movie. I saw it at the drive-in. You'll notice, by the way, if you look close enough, as young preteen Troy absolutely would. This is the sort of movie poster you could not have these days because there's nudity in that. There's real boobs being shown.
Boobies?
Of course, it's a painting of boobies because back then you got your movie posters were all hand painted and turned into prints. But there you go. But yeah, and of course, PG, not R. Yes, this is depicting the very first attack in the movie because the kids go skinny dipping, or the girl does, and she's the first one to be. The actress was actually very badly hurt because the harness that they had her on that was shaking her around.
Her?
There she had. That's her.
Okay.
That's her. She had a back injury because of being shaken around, and it's not the only time we'll be mentioning that in my picks. By the way, someone being receiving a back injury due to a poorly used harness, but yeah. Although nothing's really shown in the movie to be. But there you get the you basically get.
I like Geek Flag's comment. I'm sorry, you're not going to like it though.
Come on, brother. No.
Here's what I'll say, Nate. It depends when you watch a movie too. Like if you're I don't know how old you were, Troy, when you saw this. Like if you're like 10 or 11, this is nothing. But if you're at a certain
what year
age,
did this come out?
I want to say it was 76 or 75.
76, yeah.
It might have been 75. Yeah. Okay.
I was about 5-6 years old.
That's the age. That's the age it'll hit you. Whereas if you're a little older, yeah.
I'll be honest, to this day. So this is how it scarred me. It's that whole being in the water and what's going on under the water that you can't see.
You are defenseless in the water. Let's be honest here.
Oh yeah, you
Swimmers.
are you on land. You know, humans are the apex predator. We have pew pews. We have freedom seeds. We have all sorts of things that make us able to take on even the largest of predators other than ourselves on land. In the sea, in theory, if you plan ahead, you can defend yourself. But just out swimming in the ocean, yeah, you could get treated like seal meat. You know, it's yeah, no bueno. But I this movie, that what was the slogan for? There was a tagline for Jaws 2 that was just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water. Well, I never did think that it was safe to go back in the water. I was so messed up by this as a kid. I got freaked out in a bathtub. You know, I was just, and it's like, you can't be attacked by a shark and honestly, even like in the wading pools, I would imagine a shark coming up from the imagined depths. And of course you had, fish and dolphins and stuff imprinted on the bottoms of these wading pools. I just imagine this shark coming up out of it. If you've ever seen, and jump ahead to, adult, 45, 50-year-old Troy seeing YouTube videos, right, of those at the aquariums, where you have all the different, and then one of them is like a giant big screen TV and you don't know it. And there's a shark that comes, boom, and slams into and breaks them, that people, I'm like, I would have messed myself. If that happened.
Okay.
This next weekend when I'm in Florida at one of the parks, yeah, I'm going to have to go back to the hotel and change my pants. Cause
I need to tell you, I played the original Resident Evil on the PlayStation, right? And of course, there are zombies in it. There are evil dogs and like
Is
these
there a
things called
zombie shark?
hunters. Here's what happens at a point in the game. You open up a door and like this whole basement area, it's like partially flooded, like a tank, leaked water everywhere, and you're kind of walking even slower than you normally do because of the water. And then suddenly, like in the foreground heading toward me, I see a shark fin and I scream. There something, it was a zombie shark or a genetically engineered shark, or maybe just a regular shark in the water, and I'm like,
so have you ever seen the game what is it, Subnautica?
I've heard of it. Yeah, is there sharks in that?
There are it takes place on an alien water planet. So it's alien, and so you have these big behemoths, you have things that are like whales, you have things that are like sharks, you have giant kraken type creatures and stuff. But what is so horrifying is you have very little visibility because you're underwater. You can only see so far, whether you're in a submersible or diving suit or whatever the case is. If you're not in one of those things, you can only be underwater for so long, you're going to drown. Video games have a very immersive way of freaking you out. But so you guys know I've been playing Fallout 4 recently, and there are some bits where you have to go underwater, and Netter will tell you I was a complete 50 some year old grown ass dude still freaked out to play, and this is the worst part of it, because I didn't want to bother with going to get the suit and all this kind of stuff. I just wanted to get the mission done real quick, put in the cheat code so I could be in God mode. So there's nothing that could hurt me in the game for this mission, right?
Yeah.
But just doing it, just going under the water and seeing it on screen was freaking me the F out. And Netter's like, I'll be right here, Okay, fine. I did it. I swam. Luckily, I was able to swim out with my head above water and then dive down. And I got there and got the stupid treasure. It wasn't even worth it. It was just because I wanted to clear out the mission in my game. But then another one comes up where I'm going to have to go underwater. I'm like, F this. And I went and I downloaded a hack that made the water not murky so that I could kind of see to kind of less. And Fallout 4 doesn't even have sharks in it. There are no sharks. There is none of that stuff. But I still have this absolute, fear of not fear of the water. I've overcome my fear of the water. I can swim in pools. I can take a bath now, Not that I bathe.
Because of course, like J.R. Tolkien, he was afraid of snakes, obviously, no spiders, because he was almost killed by one, and when
that
he was
explains
a child.
Shelob, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
and Robert E. Howard, snakes always showed up in the Conan stories. When I read Ian Fleming James Bond stories, sharks show up a lot.
Yeah.
Like when Bond has to do a mission underwater, there's always worry about the sharks and of course other sea life. And I'm wondering, did Ian Fleming have a fear of things in the ocean? I don't know, but there's a lot of horrible things in the ocean, and it's like yikes.
Yes, there are.
But I've been meaning to read the book this was based on too. But this is a there you go. Of course, that's the famous scene. Boat. Roy Scheider, remember that?
You're gonna need a bigger boat. Yeah, exactly.
That's where that line comes from. Yeah.
So exactly is that scene.
I know this was a classic thriller. What's known as actually the first modern blockbuster in '75. They think this started what we thought of blockbusters. I don't know. This
predates Star Wars, in fact. Yeah.
Maybe we're at the end of the blockbuster cycle because all the. Well, we'll get into that.
That's for damn sure. That's for damn.
But yeah, this was a movie everybody wanted to see over the summer, and yeah, Jaws slogan was right this time. It's personal. Oh, for one of the Jaws sequels, was it the Jaws 4 or Jaws 3?
It was Jaws 3 because that was Jaws 3 in 3D. We'll get to talking about 3D. I will mention Jaws 3D obliquely when we get to that, but we'll get there.
No, this is a classic Spielberg effort. So yeah, check it out. They actually made a Lego set based on this, with the schooner, and you have a Lego Jaws on the other side you can build.
Doesn't surprise me in the slightest.
One of the adult sets. Yeah. All right. Moving on to Raiders of the Lost Ark, another Spielberg. Okay. So here's the story. I want to say I was 4 or 5. Dad rents this on VHS. Okay, from the whatever local mom and pop was there. Maybe he saw it in the theater when it came out too. I don't know. The whole family were in the basement family room. We're all watching it. I'm enjoying it. Big fan of Star Wars, and this is by the same people behind Star Wars, right? So looking forward to watching this movie. And then we get to the end where they decide to open up the Ark of the Covenant. And, well, there's the poster. I mean, the poster's kind of creepy. Look at that. Old-timey. That's one of the great movie posters of all time, let's be honest.
It is. It absolutely
is. Just, there you have Marion on the right there. Belloc with his mock Hebrew garb, which was probably seen as insulting by whatever was in what was in the Ark. So here we go. To this day, I'm still trying to figure out what comes out of the Ark. They mentioned the movie Wrath of God. I'm seeing spirits. I don't know if these are spirits of deceased Hebrews. I don't know if these are perhaps angels. That's another theory.
So I can actually explain this from. Okay, so this comes from the same. Okay, so we come at this movie from very different perspectives. Awesome. I was pretty hyped about this movie because I was collecting all the Bantha tracks, which was not a magazine at the time. It was a gatefold, type pamphlet-y type periodical that you got from the Star Wars fan club. And it was doing a lot of hyping of Indiana Jones. You could get Luke's Empire Strikes Back jacket, but you could also get stuff from Raiders too.
Yeah,
and I was pretty excited about it. There was this great cartoon that somebody had put into, because there was like little one panel cartoons that were in each one, and the one for this month was Indiana Jones riding a tauntaun. It was brilliant. But So I was all psyched about this. And you go, I went and saw it, and there's that whole line. You know, if Michael French was here, he'd be able to recite it to you word for word. That thing about the Ark of the Covenant. Did you guys not go to Sunday school? You know, and
yes,
he's explaining
to the DC bureaucrats about.
Of course,
of
course. In so doing, explaining to the audience, the things you need to know as we go into.
Very, very well summarized, I thought.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
They took it serious. Well, you've seen Spielberg, you knew what he was doing.
Yes,
and I'm sitting there going, "Yep, I'm all in on this," because I did. I didn't do Sunday school. I went to Catholic grade school. So I was like, I had a religion class every weekday. So I was well versed in these stories, right? So I knew you touch the Ark of the Covenant and you're not a Levite, you die, right?
Well, no. Isn't there a passage in the Bible where I think one of the Hebrews touched it only because I think it fell off the cart and he was trying to get it back on the cart. He wasn't doing
because he was not a Levite.
He was not a Levite.
There were 12 tribes, and only the
Levites
who were the priests were allowed.
One of them stumbled and put his hand
out.
And
he put his hand out to keep it from falling.
No,
and
he stumbled, put his hand out to steady himself. Onto
that's what it was.
Was that what happened? Okay.
Either way,
it
was
Shatner mentioned on the Unexplained that part, which I thought was interesting.
Exactly.
And there are all theories about what's inside. I'm thinking maybe
the Bible tells us what's inside of it. It's the
remnants of the Ten Commandments.
The Ten Commandments, the actual stone tablets that were destroyed by
Moses when he.
Yeah, I mean, you watch the Ten Commandments. That's
when he comes down, he's mad with the golden calf, and he
had every business to be. Yeah, exactly. Yes. And the bones of Adam. There was, or not Adam, Abraham. Abraham's bones were carried around in there.
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yeah, he was prevented from entering the promised land alive.
Oh, Moses, you mean?
Oh, I'm sorry, Moses. Yeah,
Moses,
I'm sorry.
Yes,
my apologies.
Okay.
My apologies, Moses.
Yes.
I thought it was Abraham. Now I'm forgetting.
That would have been.
It really. Yeah, where would they have gotten
Abraham prior?
Yeah.
So I almost thought maybe they transplanted them. Maybe they kept holding.
No, that could have been.
I don't know. Anyway,
but I forgot whose bones were in there. There's one of the patriarchs is in it.
Okay.
But that is not his spirit that's coming out of it. Okay.
No. What is
coming out of that is they were supposed to be cherubs. They were supposed to be cherubs,
right?
And the one specific one, in my head canon, I always just assumed the one that comes up and turns into a skull is the angel of death. Oh, there you go.
Oh, okay. Now that makes sense.
Remember, cherubs.
Yes.
Their job is to be the instruments of God on earth. They're literally acting as the hand of God.
And this is man getting too big for his britches.
And remember, this is the same God.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
This is the same God who struck down all of the firstborn of Egypt. And that would have included the firstborn of the Jewish families if they didn't follow his order to put the blood of a sacrificed lamb over the lintel of their house. That's the whole story of Passover, right? And so think about it. God's like, I gave you a commandment. You didn't follow it. I told you what was going to happen. Now you die. And although I don't remember the Bible ever saying this, I always imagined there might have been some families that were like, and they ended up with a death in the family, So anyway,
you couldn't be outside of the house. I mean, it's portrayed very well in that Ten Commandments Charlton Heston movie.
But it is also very, very clear that that's what was happening here. That you're not supposed to look at. You're not supposed. Right, the guy that touched the Ark of the Covenant, right? When he was slipping and falling, he's struck dead. Sorry, you were told. There are no no buts. It's absolute. And the same thing is here. That's why Indy says don't look at it. No matter what happens, don't look.
I'm getting that with some intuition on his part, thinking back to Lot's wife about not looking back at Sodom and Gomorrah. that sort of thing. Because this
He
is a problem.
knew the scriptures. It was established earlier.
Well,
He knows the scriptures. Even if he didn't believe them literally at the time, he knows them. And since then, he's seen enough to know. And here's the other thing that I've always taken from this. Even though he's considered himself a man of science, believed it was all myth, so many of the people that he respected the most around him believed it absolutely. Sala, you know, you start going, well, maybe there's something in this. And then you eventually get to the point where it's like, okay, you know, let's just, you know, and yeah, it's clear his knowledge and lacking the hubris that yeah, this guy was like, yeah, he wanted to. It is beautiful. Yes, it is beautiful, and it will destroy you. I mean, even Moses came down from Sinai aged by being in God's presence. And there are many times where
He
God
didn't
said,
see. He just saw he was within the presence in the burning bush, but he did not see the actual visage of God. Right? He
and
just
there
even that made him age.
There has been talk that being in God's presence will destroy you. It is, you just can't be. At least your human form cannot be. The only way you can have true communion with God is after death, when you are just spirit. The body will be destroyed. That's why in death you receive a new heavenly body. It's the only way you could be in God's presence. Yeah.
I did want to make a point though. Another problem with this scene is, I remember now, it just dawned on me when I was a kid. Indy, throughout the movie, Indy is kind of in control, or at least he's be able to fight back. Here he's tied up. He can do nothing about what's going on. Right. He is not in control of what's going on. I don't know how it's going to happen to Indy or Marion. Yeah.
Think about it from another perspective. The only thing he can do is submit to God's will.
Yes.
And if you're going to submit to God's will, you better obey. And that's exactly what he does, and that's exactly what he tells Marion to do. Remember, too, that
maybe his guardian angel whispered in his ear or something. Go ahead.
Fair enough. People forget this. People that are casual fans of Indiana Jones forget this. Raiders of the Lost Ark chronologically takes place after the second movie, Temple of Doom. Temple of Doom, he's much more a skeptic, much more a mercenary, right? Fortune and glory, kid. Fortune and glory. By the end of that, he has now started to see the idea that maybe there is something more in heaven and earth than is dreamt of in our philosophy. So when he gets to this point, it's like, look, I already saw those Shakara stones burn through a leather bag. Okay. You know, I saw a guy get his heart plucked out of his chest. So, you know, maybe there's something going on.
Let's leave this alone. But yeah, as a child, it freaked me out. It took me a while to work up the courage to watch the movie all the way through again. That's how much this affected me. But I think other people in the chat said, I think Nate said his sister was older than him, and this scene freaked her out too. It's a freaky scene.
It is a freaky scene.
It almost made the movie get an R rating, except they put the flames over on Belloc before his head exploded.
Yeah. Coming to this, I like I said, at my age, with the Catholic upbringing and stuff, I was like, yeah, okay, this is what it is. But it also comes in context with one of the other movies we'll get to on my list.
I gotcha. But yeah, freaked me out as a 4 or 5 year old. I was not in Star Wars territory anymore. All right, Troy's pick.
Okay, which one's this?
The Omen. I watched this much older, so obviously didn't have the same effect. Oh, look at that poster. Look at that poster.
Yeah,
and they're different posters. One of them has his shadow being an upside down cross.
That's right.
This one has a shadow being some kind of wolf creature. Is that a jackal? Maybe the son of a jackal.
Yep, it was a jackal because the Antichrist was meant to have been born of a jackal. Now this movie was a little bit more challenging for me as a kid because unlike Indiana Jones, which was very scripturally aware, this one took great liberties with
Yes.
the lore of the Bible and Revelation. It references a scripture
Which doesn't exist.
which does not exist. It even gives the citation, and it's like that's not even close to what it says in the Bible. Let he who hath understanding reckon the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and the number is 666. That is an accurate scripture. That makes perfect sense. But then when the Jews return to Zion and a comet fills the sky and the Holy Roman Empire rises, then you and I must die. And I'm like, considering that the book of Revelation was written in Greek, and this was a thought I had back in the 70s as a kid, right? again, growing up Catholic. If the original was written in Greek, it seems very unlikely that the translation would appropriately rhyme. And then, of course, I go and I check my Bible, and I'm like, yeah, no, that's not what that scripture says at all. You know,
The one of the storytellers who the story idea guys, I think he was even a self-professed born-again Christian. He said, yes, I know that's not in the Bible. I just wrote that for the movie. It was funny because he said with the writing of the screenplay, he believed in God, but not necessarily the devil. But by the time he was done writing the story, he's like, yeah, now I believe in both. That's what he said. So
yeah.
It was a. This movie is freaky, though. I mean, it's still creepy now. Look at that. Look at this kid, man. The scene where they're in the jungle habitat. Remember that?
Yeah.
All
and
the animals
monkeys
start attacking the car.
Yeah.
Because they know
Because there's something unnatural about the child. And look at that kid. Look at that kid. Doesn't he look like he's going to grow up to drink Milk Plus and do all kinds of horrible things to people?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I'm sure it was a British actor they cast as the young child. Gregory Peck, though, the great Gregory
Actually,
Peck
one little piece of trivia: the child that plays this had no idea he was in a horror film. He didn't realize until years later when he saw the movie that it was a horror movie. He was like, I had no idea. And I certainly didn't know I was the baddie.
That's actually very good on the part of the filmmakers, though. So they didn't do anything traumatic to the child during the production. They kind of shielded the child from any after effects of, hey, you're the
That's
devil
the other
child.
thing. There's a scene that specifically very much traumatized me. I got to be very careful how I talk about this on this platform. There is a scene. This is his father is an ambassador. They're a very wealthy family.
Yes.
So that's
friends with the president of the United States.
Exactly.
Yes.
And they hire a nanny to care for him.
Oh yeah.
And the nanny during a birthday party for him. Can I get away with saying it this way? She sacrifices herself as
she says, it's all for you.
It's all for you, and then she sacrifices herself.
They have to cut her down later. Okay, that's what we're gonna say.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, that's a great way. That's probably the best way you could probably communicate it. Everyone probably understands what we're talking about, but it's a very difficult scene to watch. And this was what 74, 75. I was watching it. This was one of the first videotapes that my family. So it must have been late 70s that I saw this, and it was right around that time where maybe this was always common in the 70s and so on. This topic of ending one's own time on Earth. Okay.
Right.
Whether it's a horror situation like this or from grief or whatever the situation was, it struck me very hard as a child. It was very disturbing for me, as I'm sure it's intended to be, right? At least then I think the idea behind, the value of life is very different to modern audiences, but back then it really bothered me.
Yeah.
And that particular scene, more than Doctor Who getting impaled by a skewer or the photographer losing his head. Yeah, they're Patrick Troughton, the second
Yes.
Doctor. Yeah. And again, the little Catholic boy watching this sees this and goes, "You sold out your faith.
He sold out to the devil himself.
Yeah,
basically.
you
Even
have this coming.
There was this
Good.
conspiracy. There was this conspiracy of evil within the church, and they were all part of this.
I'll
This
tell
cabal
you,
to bring
if you saw this and you didn't see what was that movie with Mia Farrow?
Rosemary's Baby.
Rosemary's Baby. Yeah. Those two movies are thematically directly related.
Yes.
So he was definitely in the devil's cult or whatever.
He's trying to redeem himself because he realizes, we did a terrible thing, and I have to now warn the family.
But you know what? But he you know what? God may forgive, the devil does not. And
Yes.
so when this happens, it's like, okay, you kind of had it coming.
Now, I know that there's another theory floating around about the Omen, and I find this one more ludicrous in the fact that there was actual demonic stuff going on here. Is that everything is a coincidence, except for the weirdos that are making the dad think that his kid's the devil child, and everything else that happens in it, it's just a coincidence.
Yeah, keeping in mind that, there could be a cult of these people that aren't actually doing anything other than,
making this guy think his child is the devil.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense to me, though, because I'm thinking, well, if the devil was operating like this, getting rid of these people that are informing, it would probably... It might look like natural occurrences, but they still look weird. Like, how in the heck do we have the preview of the guy doing the pictures, and it looks like his head's going to get sliced
So
off?
one of the elements is, of
Yes.
course, the photographer took a picture of the priest before he died,
Yes.
and there's like this smear through him, and every picture that's taken of him is like that. And then what happens? He dies with a pole impaling him.
And then the photographer joins
he
up.
takes a
with
picture
Gregory
of himself in a mirror, and it shows a line going through his head.
because he realizes whatever's happening, I'm part of it, whether I want to be or not. So I have to go along with you.
And then later on, this was the thing that you'd think would really bother me, but it actually had the opposite effect. The scene is that he,
David Warner.
It was David Warner. You're
Warner's
absolutely
fault,
right.
yes.
I'd forgotten that.
Playing a good guy for a change.
Right. Yeah, for a change, right. Exactly. He's like, oh, I'm done with this. I want to play baddies from now on, right?
Yes.
But he gets beheaded, right? The character gets beheaded by a pane of glass, that comes off of a truck or whatever and slices through his head. If they had just done it kind of subtly, right? You see the preaching and then the head goes flying. It would have been horrific. But the director decided that wasn't enough.
Right.
That went too fast.
Yes.
So they do it like the kick in Ferris Bueller's Day Off when the sister kicks the principal in the face, and it's like bam, 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 bam. It's that's not what's really happening. You're seeing it, repeated.
Do you know why Richard Donner, the guy that made Superman, do you know why he did that? He said typically in these horror movies, people will cover their eyes like when they think a scary thing is popping up, right?
Exactly.
And then they open their eyes back up. But he wanted to do it. He tried to time it for how long it would take them to open their eyes back up, just so you could then see the head still toppling, and it'd be like they get hit twice.
I understand that logic, but the reason it doesn't hold up is because there are those, especially those on a rewatch. Maybe he wasn't thinking people would see it multiple times.
Yeah, they think about theaters.
Who would,
at the time, yeah.
I'm going to watch this. I'm going to make sure I see what. And then you see it happen like 2, 3, 4 times from different angles, and it's like, okay, this is laughably silly.
I liked it. I don't care. I know it's
totally defused that scene for me.
Well,
no. So mine was the Damien, It's All For You, right?
Yeah, that actually is a freaky scene. Yeah, it's unsettling. You see it's at a children's birthday party with the kids looking on, and you see the clown's not smiling. It's like a real buzzkill basically for the whole event.
Right. And Damien's mother like grabs him and turns him away, and he's like, I don't even know what the hell's going on. I just but yeah, that was incredibly traumatic for me. And then the existential story there from the point of view of someone growing up Catholic going, yeah, maybe they don't have their scriptures on straight, but this is how the devil's going to operate.
I
And
think it's the best movie about the Antichrist that I've seen. I like it better than Road to
absolutely
Escape. Yeah.
true. And I'll tell you, here I am, 50 plus years old, looking at the world around me going, son of a bitch, they're actually doing it. This is actually, I'm seeing way too much of the end times happening. I could have accepted it was all allegory and symbolism.
Right.
And now I'm not so sure anymore. Now
maybe it's all just laid out there in the text, and you can just pick that's happening. What kills me though, part 3, Sam Neill, perfect casting for the Antichrist. I think he was perfect casting.
Yeah,
that's how I would expect him to look. I would expect him to look like a very handsome, well-to-do man. I think not someone you would suspect of being evil. That's basically what I would think he would look like. Someone from the upper crust. But
that's exactly right.
But I
might be on a certain list about a certain island, in fact.
Might be the guy that set up the thing on the island, not himself being involved in it. That's what I would expect. That maybe a certain person worked for him. Anyway, what was I going to say though? No, this is still a great movie, and there are always these what I call Satan-themed horror films, like the satanic horror films. We're going to get to another one in a little bit, even though. I don't know, and I always find them kind of a lark.
Again,
but holds up.
Part of what we're getting at here is you've got to understand these aren't necessarily the scariest movies. These were movies that just hit us
up
a certain way at a certain time. Yep. Your mileage may vary. If you grew up Jewish, this movie probably was just silly to you. You
probably. What did I want to mention to you though? You know who liked this a lot? Wes Craven always pointed this. This was a classic of his.
That says something then. Yeah. That's good.
All right. Oh, and do you know who played the babysitter? It was Jack Palance's daughter, who was Lois Lane in the Superman movie. You can see her doing scenes with Christopher Reeve for screen tests.
Wow.
And Pretty Woman, I think they didn't cast her because she felt like a retro Lois Lane, whereas Margot Kidder portrayed a more modern Lois Lane. That's probably why they went with Margot Kidder instead. But it's worth checking out.
Yeah.
Oh, my pick. Look at that.
Boomer pick. Well, that's kind of how it goes. You go back and forth, back and forth. The Incredible Shrinking Woman. I remember this movie. I saw this movie in the theaters with my mom.
Okay. I was a kid. Little.
Right.
This is not meant to be a horror movie. This is a comedy.
No. Yes.
I found what was happening.
Lily Tomlin. I loved Lily Tomlin.
Lily Tomlin. I found what was happening in this movie disturbing as a child. Okay, not funny. I know the audience thinks it's funny.
Yeah.
You have this woman. Does she get hit with a ray, or she takes a drug, or maybe she?
No. What happened was
household cleaners or something.
They It had to do with all the chemicals that are in our environment. It was meant to be a little bit of a commentary on,
probably not wrong.
Plastics. No, yeah. Look, as we're getting in and we're seeing, the current administration, the only thing I think the current administration is doing right, the Make America Healthy,
yes.
and looking at the additives in foods, the artificial dyes that are made with petroleum products. The things that we're frying our foods with, and the oils that are in things that are outlawed in other countries because they're not food products, how they're causing cancer and all other kinds of things. Well, they were a little bit more silly about it, but it makes the same point.
Here's what I get the impression from this movie, and I've not seen it for a number of years. I need to rewatch it, but I believe was Charles Grodin her husband or someone like that? Okay.
Yes, he was.
And I remembered she becomes sort of like a celebrity, right?
Right.
For a bit, and like she's on talk shows and stuff.
In a very like Truman Show kind of way, except where she's a part of it. Yeah, you're right. She goes and is interviewing and stuff, and you. That's probably one of the things that is probably the most disturbing about it, because you realize, yeah, this is probably how it would really go, with the media and stuff like that.
But I feel that after a while, as she starts getting smaller, people start to forget about her. She gets stuck in a dollhouse, as I recall. Let me see if I have a picture of that. Well, that's her by a bathroom sink. Oh my goodness.
That is actually kind of brilliant because, right, she is wearing doll clothes and stuff like that. And yeah, so this is kind of a humorous remake of The Incredible Shrinking Man. And honestly, other than the gender swap and the modern day element of it, it really does cover all the plot points of the original. So they actually end up doing a pretty good job. What she's doing here is she's making recordings. That's an old-fashioned
tape recorder, yes.
Tape recorder, the kind that I used to record Star Wars when it was played on network television. Or at least the audio of it. A lot of people used it to record Doctor Who before there was VHS, and that's why we have all the audio of Doctor Who to this day. But she's making recordings because she realizes there's going to come a point where she's no longer going to be able to. She's not going to be around anymore. She knows that.
It's horrifying. And then we get to the scene, and this is the scene that really freaked me out. And this is when she's in the sink and I don't know if it's the girlfriend or the maid or somebody, she's like listening to like some Walkman and she's not even paying attention. She's dumping,
and she can't hear that she's saying, help, I'm down here.
And she's in the sink. And then like, is it like a garbage disposal under there too? And I'm
thinking
it's going to get chopped up. And I'm thinking.
So she goes and she turns on the garbage disposal. And then immediately upon doing that, she sees the little tiny shoe that had fallen off of her that's in the sink. And she screams. Yeah. And of course, in a very appropriate dramatic way, you don't know what her fate is. You're seeing it from the point of view of the maid at this point, and it's, oh my God, you know?
And I guess as a child, I thought, I guess I really felt bad for this woman. I know it's a comedy, but I felt bad for Lily Tomlin. It's like this is beyond her control, and she's just getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and like she might be fighting off insects soon. It's like this is and I assume The Incredible Shrinking Man was probably done straight, and it probably was done as a sort of a horror movie, right? Is that
the biggest difference was they didn't have any of the comical beats. And there was one element in The Incredible Shrinking Man that isn't in The Incredible Shrinking Woman. At one point, when he is, I guess he's about 3 feet tall, he takes up with a little person, a female little person from the circus. Remember, of course, this was back in when was that? 1930s, 1940s?
Right.
You know, when they still had what they called freak shows at the time.
Right.
Very politically incorrect. And he kind of, bonds with her. He doesn't do anything particularly,
Right.
He was emotionally cheating on his wife, basically.
Okay.
But it was out of desperation because he sees himself not being able to fulfill his role as a husband. He feels like he's being treated more like a child. And anyway, so that whole element is kind of not even in this at all because it just removing that helps facilitate the humorous aspects they're going for.
Anyway, how about you, Netter? You see this movie?
Yes, I have a couple times. Yes, the things that she gets into because of her size, and it's like, and you, like Troy was saying, you don't know what her fate was for this garbage disposal thing. Of course, you find out she got out.
Oh, 57. It was later than I thought, but okay, thank you.
And she was unharmed. And I think they figured out that the reason she was shrinking was because of all the different chemicals and the different things she used every day, like hairspray,
exactly.
Her perfume, her shampoo, her conditioner, her makeup.
A theme that kind of got back to in Batman '89.
Yes.
The Joker, saying, one thing won't do it, but all these things together, whatever.
Yeah, because in this one they were able to reverse it, but I think then she started getting bigger.
They yeah.
Yes.
So
I like the ending.
Kind of the ending. Yeah, it turns out that she ends up falling into some chemicals that actually reverse the process. So she does come back. Unlike The Incredible Shrinking Man that ends with him ostensibly, falling into like the Ant-Man's,
the Ant-Man
subatomic
realm, yes.
world, and disappearing from the world. She starts to grow again, and in the very last scene, she's wearing her regular clothes and her house slippers and whatnot, and then suddenly the house slippers split apart, and she looks up and she's like, "Uh-oh," and that's how it ends.
Funny.
And I felt like we needed a sequel to that. We needed her to
be Giant Woman.
The
That would have been
50-foot
interesting.
woman, yeah, the Attack of the 50-Foot Woman. That would have been great. A remake of the 50-foot woman,
like hanging out near Mount Rushmore. Her head places the Mount Rushmore anyway. But anyway, yeah, it would have been cool to have done a sequel, but I'm fine with it. But yeah, I don't know. It just freaked me out as a kid. I remember there was.
I don't blame you on that. I totally understand that. Although it didn't strike me that way. I was a little older, let's face it, when I saw that, and but honestly, I could see where that would be very, very disturbing. Yeah.
Yes. Troy's pick.
The Amityville Horror. Now, I think longtime viewers of this channel have probably heard this story before, but I couldn't do this list and not include this particular one. So, speaking of Lois Lane, this movie did star Margot Kidder. She was the female lead in this film. Thanos' dad, what's his name? James Brolin. James Brolin. Again,
Rod Steiger.
Rod Steiger, exactly. In theory, based on real events, they played that up to really for the marketing reason, not only for this movie but of the book. We've talked previously about how, yeah, it really sounds more and more. The more you dig into this, the more you realize probably not legit. But I'll tell you what, back in the late 70s, we bought in hook, line, and sinker. The whole based on, yeah, my mom did too. My mom read the book, based on a true story, the whole thing. So we kind of took it way too much at face value, not realizing that based on a true story means, well, this is the story they told us, therefore it's based on their claim that it's a true story.
Well, I read the books before I saw the film.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of like, okay, they left a bunch of stuff out. They put in some stupid stuff.
That's the other thing. If you really pay attention to multiple editions of this movie, excuse me, not the movie, the book. Yes. The book came out in multiple editions and it changed a lot.
Yes.
So it's like, well, what was true and what wasn't? If you're changing it as you go,
like the way the front of the car opens up, like the way in the book, the hood actually opens up the opposite way. So they got that wrong for the model of car. That was something that happened in the book, so they had to change it.
I'll tell you what, as an older guy, if I'd have seen that, that would have probably bothered me too. But as a kid, I didn't realize that. Joe's Atmosphere says, huge fan, first R-rated film I saw in theaters. There you go.
Look at that house. That's a thing out of nightmares.
Is that, what do they call that style? Colonial style?
I think it's colonial style.
Something like that. The reason that works so well is because those two attic windows really end up looking like eyes. Like the house is sentient. I've told Boomer that I because I got so into recreating fictional houses. This is actually based on a real house. Yeah, you can go online and you can find the floor plans for this house, like you can for most houses.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. So I took those floor plans and I created it in The Sims, and put in a bunch of hacks to torture my Sims through the actual Amityville Horror. In the basement, I installed a sauna that if they closed themselves up in the sauna, it would kill them.
So if I was a rich man, I could basically recreate this house, have someone build it for me.
Dude, you could go and buy that house. That house still exists.
I don't want to buy the actual house. Not that there's anything going on in there, but just in case.
I know it just has sewage problems.
So yeah, let me back up.
It's
and
built over one of the 7 gateways to hell. That's what.
Oh, is that what they're saying now? Okay,
well, they don't say
yeah.
7, but I know that from Fulci movies, and I know you had the psychic lady go down there, and her voice starts changing. It's the passage to hell. Cover it.
And for those of you that are into the whole Conjuring series,
yes.
this is supposed to be the cornerstone for that whole, kind of thing.
They did a scene at the beginning of Conjuring 2 where they're at the Amityville house. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
but again, you really got to take all of that with a grain of salt. Probably spread in a circle around you just to kind of protect you. But anyway,
there's a
there's a Brolin in his.
I love that picture just because it's, you know what though, but it adds to realism because that's how he would be walking around. He'd be in his briefs.
Absolutely, and of course, not even unpacked. This is what it's like when you first move into a house. You're not even moved in.
Putting up crappy wallpaper.
So this is so if there's a movie that deserves a prequel, which this one got, it's this one because you're coming into it with the main characters not knowing the history on the house, and then they find it out as they go, and they're realizing their house is haunted. What a gate of hell, murders that happened in this house before.
It was an Italian-American family that was in this house before. The DeFeos.
Yes, it is.
They called them the Montellis in the prequel, I guess, to protect the innocent.
They really had to. And they left out a bunch of characters, and they put in some things that did not happen in real life. That's a whole other story. That second movie, that prequel movie, we'll talk about that some other time.
Heavy stuff in there that maybe
that had a very different impact on me. It scarred me, but not in this kind of a way. It scarred me in a different adultish kind of way.
This movie to me and this whole Amityville phenomenon, this is my opinion, the peak of the whole satanic panic. But of course the book is weird because I don't know if I don't think they ride the Satanist angle as much in the book as they do in the movie. I think they did bring a priest in to bless. That does happen in the book.
Okay, and there is no cult related element like it was
there's
in
no
the
nun throwing up out of her car after she visits the house or something. That's not in the book. It's
right, exactly like that. But so here's the thing, right? So as a kid, took it all completely at face value. This absolutely happened exactly the way I'm seeing it in this movie. The devil taking the form of a pig, Jody being the what do you call it? The imaginary friend
of the little
girl and stuff.
Creepy little girl.
This whole thing about the babysitter getting locked in the closet.
That's a creepy scene.
Up and all that kind of stuff, and them waking up or him waking up every night at 3 a.m, which is when the murders took place. And at one point going downstairs and being attacked, tripping over a statue of a lion, but then having like claw marks or bite marks on his leg, like it came to life and bit him and stuff like that. Supposedly a portal to hell in the basement and all this kind of stuff.
Catering money getting stolen.
This black ichor or blood coming from the walls. The priest comes to bless it and he's attacked by flies. Yeah. See that black ichor that's backing up everywhere. The priest comes to bless the house, and as he becomes sick and he's attacked by flies, and he goes running out of the house and gets into a car accident or whatever the case was.
Once she tries calling him on the phone, he gets sick because like the devil can go through the phone lines and just start messing with just.
But so anyway, this movie was one of the ones that truly did scar me, and I took it at absolute face value. And
because it's based on a true story and it's modern times.
And my mother bought into it, so her buy-in really impacted me. So I saw this as a kid, freaked me out. Okay, gosh, Got it. Okay. This was, by the way, in our movie, so I didn't see it until we saw it on VHS. But, you know, even as a preteen, this still hits you hard when you have that kind of belief in it, right?
Well,
Okay.
Well, let's be honest. He's in the room, the priest, and he goes, "Get out, get out!" And the way, whatever they did, some kind of sound thing where that's not a human voice saying that.
Exactly.
It's like this.
There was this great sketch that Eddie Murphy did in Saturday Night Live that was riffing on this. He goes, or was it in Saturday Night Live, or was it his stage performance?
It was one of them, or the stand-up, yeah.
Where he's like, you know, I don't understand you white people. You know, this is where I think black people are smarter than white people. He says, because you got he's specifically talking about this movie, because one of the shticks about this movie is each chapter is segmented by how many days they've been in the house. Yes. And he goes, you know, you buy a haunted house and it's like day 100, day 300, day whatever, you know? He goes, a brother goes buys a house, you know, hey, this is a nice place, nice neighborhood, great place for the kids to grow up in. I think we're going to really like it here. Get out. Okay, honey, pack up. We're leaving. Bye. And I'm like, yeah, black people are way smarter than white people. You know?
That reminds me of a similar joke when I was listening to a podcast about an Italian horror movie called House by the Cemetery. So like in American movies, you hear Get Out, and it's like, oh, wow, something freaky is going on here. In the Italian horror movie, you walk into the house, the babysitter you had watching the kids is missing, and there's a huge swath of blood leading to the basement that you can't unlock, that you've not been able to unlock since you moved in, and you just decide, let's go to bed. You know, like nothing happened. It's like, I don't know,
we'll deal with it in the morning, for crying out loud.
This movie freaked me out. They used to play this on regular TV during the afternoon.
I want to say hi to Keely Chow. Welcome. Good to see you.
Which, even though it's an R movie, I don't think they cut too much out of the regular.
No,
TV
all
version.
they really cut out of it was
the axe scene, the axe dream sequence. Was that what they cut out?
Oh, that could be. Yeah. No, they shortened the scenes of the there was some scenes of Margot Kidder.
Yes.
Yeah. You know the scenes I'm talking
about.
You know the scenes I'm talking about. So yeah, she was. I think her character was a dancer or something like that, and she's doing her dance routine let's just say the kind of clothes that a wife might wear before bed. You know, just. Not particularly meant to be sexy, but when you're, you know, doing those dance moves, just saying.
Did you catch the in joke in this movie? Because I think she's humming the Superman and Lois theme from Superman the movie.
Yes.
Which really. But you know what's worse about this? Even when they get out of the house, right, and then you left the doggy, Butchie. You left the dog behind, and it's like, oh no! Now he has to go back in to get the dog.
Exactly.
And doesn't he fall through the floorboards? And there's all this.
No! You're getting ahead of us. That's the other movie that the other haunted house movie that I got coming up. But so again, as a kid, this effed me up. As an adult, just recently married. Netta and I living in an apartment on the north side of Chicago. I was, you know, just going through, you know, just sharing with Netta about growing up and, you know, trying to help her understand me. You know, this is where I came from. These are the things. And this is one of those things that impacted me as a kid. And I'm like, you know, you probably need to understand my level of so let's watch this movie. I know you're not into horror movies, you don't like horror movies, but you know what, we'll watch it together. I'll be right here, and you know, it'll be good, and you can kind of get an idea of how screwed up I am because of this movie, right? Remember, this scared the crap out of me as a kid and scarred me. That's the whole point of this movie. We're halfway through the movie, we're an hour into this movie. And Netta's like, so have we gotten to the scary part yet? And I'm like, for sake, honest, this was scary to little Troy. I don't know what's going on here.
And that's why I told him, it's like, you know, I had read the books years ago.
It hits differently for, someone who's not Catholic, who doesn't believe that it's real, who, is a little bit older. Let's face it. A couple of years older makes a difference.
Well, considering the fact that I believe in the spirits in our house and I've seen them and talked to them.
Well, that's fair, but not the same kind of.
Here's the thing, though. I read the book, and I know there is the part where the priest runs out of the house and stuff, but I got the impression that in the book it was more ghosts than like demonic stuff. That's what I got from the book. Whereas
I don't know. It sounded like demonic possession to kill the family in the first place.
Maybe that's right. Maybe you're right.
Hell kind of thing, and Jody the pig. I mean,
but I know I feel like they stick a lot. Well, I never even made that thing. By the way, that pig in this movie, when you finally see it through the window, that's not impressive. It was more impressive when you just saw the eyes blinking through the window and you couldn't make out what it was.
When you're a kid, you take it at face value. That really kind of effed me up. But I'll tell you. So after watching it with Netter and realizing it's not as scary as I remember it being, but as someone who's getting ready to buy a house, I start looking at this movie completely different. Okay, so you buy a house where something supposedly happened in it, and you realize that there's a portal to hell right in the basement, or maybe it's just a sewage problem, and then the walls start bleeding this ichor, or maybe the pipes are just leaking, the sewage pipes are leaking, and the priest gets sick because of the smell of the sewage, and he's attacked by flies that are attracted to the sewage, right? Okay, you have a house that is a money pit. That in and of itself is horrific, and you got to figure out a way to get out of this when you're in debt up to your eyeballs with mortgage. That's a whole different movie, but equally scary to an adult,
But I don't know, flies, that's like Beelzebub, Lord of the Flies, right? I'm just saying.
or something you get used to as a homeowner who has a sewage backup. Just saying.
Anyway, so there's a great scene where the catering money vanishes and he starts freaking out. Remember that?
Right. And you're starting to get the impression that he is not in control of himself. So
yes.
Yeah.
Where's the money? He yells out
this
the
one
house.
Freaked me out as a kid. As an adult, I look back and I'm like, I'm not really sure what I was afraid of, but it impacted me for a lot of years, Then they remade this movie with Ryan Reynolds, and that was just stupid.
Yeah, but I like the two actresses in it. I like Melissa George, and I liked the one who played the babysitter, who was Rachel Nichols, who was on the sci-fi show Continuum.
There you go.
Which I can't
Ryan
get on.
Reynolds was in Amityville Horror.
Yeah,
remake.
He plays the father role.
Have you not seen the remake, Netter?
We saw it. It was just forgettable. I understand.
It was all right. I went to the theater to see that because I was like, I was always of this opinion. We always complain about Hollywood remaking good movies and making them worse, but since I never considered the Amityville Horror that good, maybe they'll make this better, and that it's it's just bad in a different way.
It was one of those ones that followed it closely enough to still be bad, but milk toasted it enough to not make it good either. So it's just.
I did like Rachel Nichols as the babysitter, and of course you think of the mousy babysitter with the braces in the original movie, and then you get like this super hot like older teenager babysitter in the remake. But oh well.
That's right. The babysitter in the original had like these braces things.
Well, the retainer, which you have to wear when you're not eating, I that's when you're in early braces form. For those of you old enough to remember, you had to wear that outside your mouth.
I hated that. I hated it too. For years, I had nightmares about my teeth falling out, and I knew it was directly related to it having braces. Yeah.
I still wear my retainer every night.
No. Different kind of retainer.
I'm talking about when you have the braces,
wear
outside.
And it pulls your teeth back. Yeah. The headgear. The headgear. Oh, I hated it. And I'll tell you, I hated it so much I wanted to get rid of it as quickly as possible. So I wore it as tight as I possibly could. I got horrible headaches.
Yeah.
Pulling my teeth back. but I wanted to make sure that I got it. And the doctor would be like, "Are you wearing it every night?" Every damn night. I put it in hours before I go to bed, and I take it. Well, I got to take it out before I go to school. But,
Yeah, pain in the butt.
Oh yeah, my mother and grandmother had a much stronger reaction to this movie than I did.
Dude,
But,
this
still.
is Faye Dunaway as Joan Crawford, who
Let me tell you something. Faye Dunaway disappears into that role. You forget that it is Faye Dunaway.
That's true.
She looks so much
okay.
like Joan Crawford. Yeah, it's amazing.
This is another one you do not watch as a child.
You probably shouldn't. Yeah.
There's an expression known as I think it showed up in the movie Coraline, the other mother. When I was a child, I had a nightmare, and this was from another movie that I saw as a kid, which I don't know what it was because it had like this green Medusa lady killing people, and I don't remember what it was called. But I remember as a child, I had like I had a nightmare where I was in a field that was all black, kind of like Pac-Man, like you have the orbs. There were these teepees, like these Indian teepees everywhere.
Yeah.
And this weird Medusa green one was going around killing people, like stalking people. And I go in to hide with my mom. My mom was like, "I'm sorry, you can't be in here. You have to go out and meet the woman." And I didn't know what that's about. And I did dream analysis later on. And I think I mentioned this on a prior stream. We talked about dreams. That what that is when you're a child, you have no control or power, and your worst fear is that someone in authority, a protector, such as a parent or maybe a teacher or something, would do something bad to you, and you're powerless to stop it. And that's sort of what that underlying
imagine how kids feel when they are actually in that situation,
which is what apparently this movie is about. So yes. This is she adopted a couple of kids.
Look at her. Oh my God. She really does look like Joan Crawford. It's amazing.
And you're thinking this is going to be a fairy tale come true. She adopts some little blonde girl from the orphanage. You're going to get to be the daughter of a movie star. Famous Hollywood actress Joan Crawford. What could possibly go wrong? And apparently everything. So
yeah.
No more wire hangers ever.
Wire hangers.
For starters.
That line has taken on so many meanings since this movie came out. Netter and I, having done cosplay and history reenacting and stuff, and there was always this joke. I think it comes from the we didn't do Renaissance Fair, but we worked with a lot of people that did the Renaissance Fair who would be on the Queen's duty, and they would be the guardians and protectors of the Queen, right?
Yes.
To save the Queen, right? He explained that that's not what you're doing. To hell with the Queen, protect the dress. That's what your job was when you were on Queen's duty, whether it was the Renaissance Fair or the Victorian reenactments or the steampunk stuff. Protect the dress. You protect the dress. It comes off as you protecting the Queen, but we can always replace the Queen. That dress is a lot of work, very, very expensive. So this whole idea of no wire hangers are completely freaking useless. They are not. You don't put a nice jacket, a nice heavy jacket, or even slacks. You don't use wire hangers. They put bad lines in your clothes. This is not. That is what you use to get it from the dry cleaner to get it home, and then you switch to the nice big wooden ones that keep its shape without pressing lines into it. That's the one element. But then, of course, if you grew up and you're a certain age and you remember corporal punishment, why you wouldn't like wire hangers for a whole other reason.
Because your behind might feel the other end of it.
Oh, or the back of your thighs.
Awful.
Oh, yeah, if it wasn't the wire hanger, it was the thin strip of bamboo. That was yeah, I have some memories of that. But and then in the 60s, wire hangers took on a whole different meaning that we won't get into any further.
No, I know
think
what you're
those of you
referring
that
to.
are old enough know what we're talking about. But yeah, wire hangers. Yikes.
So, there. I don't know. From what I heard, this was based on a memoir written by the adopted daughter of
Right.
Joan Crawford, and I heard the
Mhm.
movie deviates from that, and maybe this scene makes no sense in this movie because it's taken out of context from the book or something. Why is she flipping out over? It's not like the daughter is in control of the hangers they use, right? Is the daughter like hoarding wire hangers and replacing the fine hangers of her clothes? I mean, what is going on here?
So
I, I
I
don't.
honestly have very, very vague memory of this movie.
You said your
And
mom and your aunt watched it,
my
right? Yeah,
my mom and my grandmother,
grandma.
and
Okay,
they both read the book. I
okay,
did not read the book,
right.
so I don't know. But out of context, I would take this. Look at the dress. It looks like the kind of dress that she would have worn for a recital or something like that. She probably brought the dress home. Like I said, bring it home from the dry cleaner, bring it home from
Or
school or
maybe
whatever.
she
You
hung
bring
it
it
up at
home.
school and took the wrong hanger by accident. There you go. That could
Or that's what she received it on. And normally you would get it home and change it to, like I said, a nicer there and there are different kinds of hangers for different kinds of clothing. Right tool for the right job. If you're having problems with your clothing and the way they hang, and you might be using the wrong hanger, just saying. But it
there,
was just a trigger for her. That we didn't have that word back then, but nowadays you'd say she was triggered by that.
there's this another scene where, like, I guess the little girl doesn't want to eat like the ham steak or whatever they're serving, so
Mhm.
she keeps serving it to her over and over again, the same piece of steak until she eats it. That was a thing,
Right.
and I remember
Right.
that. And
What I'll say about this is, for Joan Crawford to be doing that, and for my mother to be doing it, because she kind of did that too. But that's very different. When you're growing up in a middle class, lower middle class family, a poor family, you need to learn. You're going to be thankful for the food you have. And if you don't finish it now, you'll finish it later.
what if it's
Because that's
tongue?
what you're eating. It's protein, it's meat,
Oh
you
my
eat it.
goodness!
Or you go hungry. That's your choice.
Oh my gosh, when I was stuck at the table with something I did not like, because I'm sorry, but I did not like my mother's meatloaf, I would have glasses of milk. So I'd take a bite and then drink like a glass of
Yeah,
milk for that one
drown it
bite
out.
to get it down.
Well, to be fair, between the meatloaf and the milk, definitely getting your fat and protein. So it sounds like a healthy meal.
Did your mom use Heinz 57?
No.
That's what you
She,
needed.
No. My mom didn't put any of that stuff on the meatloaf. It was the meat with the egg and the crackers cooked. None of that tomato sauce crap on top.
Oh,
So I did.
No one in our house really liked ketchup, so
Well, and see, that's just it. I did
What?
get ketchup with my meatloaf, and I used to like meatloaf. I used to smother it in ketchup, and as I got older and older and older, less and less and less ketchup, to the point that I no more, no more.
my household, it was Heinz 57.
Heinz 57 is more like a steak sauce, right? It's kind of a
That's why I
mushroom
thought it
based.
worked better with the meatloaf, actually. Okay.
I never had it with meatloaf. It probably wouldn't be bad. Look, okay, I'm gonna take a deviation because I'm on my ass drunk right now, and it's my show and I can. If you are having a sauce of any kind, I don't care if it's ketchup, I don't care if it's A1, Heinz, Worcestershire, okay, you don't pour it over the meat.
No.
Okay? No, you put at worst. I got a half a root beer here. I got to finish first, sweetie. Don't.
I'm rearranging things.
Okay. You the worst, and this is kind of déclassé. You could pour a little bit onto your plate and then dip your food into it before you eat it.
Yeah.
But you can also get one of those little tiny bowls to put it into. Separate.
Oh, never
and
thought
that's
of
how
that.
you. We've actually got a bunch of them for a bunch of different
Interesting.
reasons. But you do that, and that's how you eat. You don't. That's just so. Especially because then you got that meat, and it absorbs into the meat, and then you have way too much.
It's overdoing it.
And honestly, modern ketchup, the tomato ketchup, is so sweet. I don't do sweet anymore, especially not with meats. I want it savory.
Yeah, in my house, I only use ketchup on hot dogs, and I was not one of them.
Yeah, Chicago, you don't do ketchup on hot dogs. It's just not. It's not a thing. The only thing to this day, the only thing that I still eat ketchup on is a burger. But then it's ketchup, mustard, onion, lettuce. American
It's
cheese.
interesting. I used to eat ketchup on fries, but I've kind of gotten out of the habit. But yeah.
Same here. As a kid, I used to.
Yeah.
And
now I just
the
eat the
older I
fries
got,
by
the
themselves.
less. And now I don't. No.
Usually the fries are properly seasoned. You don't even need anything extra on them. But
I agree.
Uh,
Now I want some French fries.
anyway, here we go. Look at this, though. I did want to bring this up because this is my favorite scene in the movie, where her daughter's all grown up and she finally confronts her mom, and her mom says, "Why can't you treat me with the respect that I could get from any stranger on the street?" And then her daughter responds back, "Because I am not one of your fans." And then they start getting it, and like she starts trying to choke her daughter to death. It's this whole thing.
Well,
The maid has to break them up. It's funny.
I do remember this scene, and I remember talking it over with my mother. You do this with movies like this, right? You tend to go, well, what I would have said, or what would have been better to have said. You don't think about these things in the moment. But I think what would have been way better is if she would have said, "I wish you would just treat me like a stranger. What's worse is I'm your daughter."
Look at this, though. This is like the Batman Robin slap picture, if you think about it. I didn't even think about that. I should put that in the presentation. Yes. Oh, well. Yes. Moving on to another pick.
One of mine. Okay,
this
I got another
yours.
one.
Poltergeist.
Again, I'm going to preface this.
I think I was just
PG.
old enough.
This was PG, right? Not even PG-13, because this predates PG-13. In fact, this was one of the movies, along with Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, and God bless you, and Gremlins, that parents groups pointed to and said, "Look, we need something between PG and R. This may not rise to the level of R, but it's not PG. There needs to be something in between." That's where PG-13 came from. Real quick, I want to say hi to Slasher Fred. One of the movies that scared me was The Secret of Nim, even though it was a children's movie. It had some pretty dark elements.
It did.
That one would have made my list if I was a bit younger. I was a bit older. If I was my brother's age, he was born in 1976, maybe. But I loved that movie so much. I was just old enough that not only did it not traumatize me, I fell in love with that movie. But I don't know if you know this, but before they did E.T., Steven Spielberg was supposed to do a sci-fi movie called Night Skies, which supposed to have a family being harassed by aliens. Yes, I did. And that's when he kind of relaxed it down into, well, of course, let's be honest. We had Close Encounters of the Third Kind before E.T. E.T. decided to go the opposite way with. But yeah, Poltergeist, very much in the vein of Amityville Horror, which I know you're probably thinking, with the way Amityville Horror impacted you, Why on earth did you go see this one? Yes, my mother took me to see this in the theater, in the cinema, and it did not go well. If I remember
Caught
correctly,
this
this
on
was
Showtime.
this one was I think wasn't it billed by, because this was Steven Spielberg too, right?
Producing Toby Hooper, I believe, is the director, except people argue that no, Spielberg still showed up and directed portions. I don't know if any of that's true. There's arguing back and forth. Spielberg's name is definitely on here as a producer, and he was involved with the production. How much he got involved, because Toby Hooper, I think, is still director. Was he the director
Sure.
of this? Let me just make sure he was the director of this. I get him and Joe Dante confused a lot.
And this movie had the benefit of not being based on a true story. They didn't say it was based on a true story.
Toby Hooper. It's not based on a true story, but it's based on ghost lore. A lot of ghost lore that was popular at the time, much in the same way Close Encounters of the Third Kind was based on UFO lore. It's kind
which
of like
is why you kind of forgive it if it dives into tropes. You're like, well, yeah, that's the point.
It was the first time we saw these tropes. Look at that.
True, but this whole idea of, well, it was built on a Indian burial ground that was then, a cemetery, and you move the headstones, but you didn't move the bodies. And
it wasn't an Indian burial ground; it was just a regular cemetery.
Well, until the sequels.
Maybe that's where that came from.
Yeah. The sequels. Then they started getting into that, and they got into the pilgrims that lived there and stuff like that. Great special effects, which really were just, animation.
Well, Industrial Light and Magic, I think we're involved.
ILM,
right?
Yes. Exactly right.
Look at that hand coming out from the TV screen.
Yeah, very, very freaky. And again, their use of the little girl, the sweet little innocent girl, somehow brings this very offsetting kind of element to it. They're here. Oh God, that already.
The spirits are she's probably able to communicate with the spirits better than the rest of them because she's a kid.
Right.
So she's probably more open to this stuff.
The same kinds of things that freak you out about things.
Like, don't talk to strangers. How kids might be more susceptible to talk to a stranger. That's what tell them to talk to strangers. Don't talk to ghosts. That's another thing we should tell them. Yeah.
What was that movie that Deleted Scenes wants us to do for Life from Sparkle and 21?
Skinamarink.
Skinamarink, yeah. Kind of like Skinamarink, where the kids are easily preyed upon by these entities or whatever. That clown, let's face it, this is what the clown looks like before it goes evil, when it's just a freaking doll.
There's some
creepy as all again, Skinamarink,
The clown changes features in later scenes, like when he's close to the kid. It's slight, but it's there.
His eyebrows come down, and the teeth.
You have to be, and I think in your head you're wondering, did he always look like that? Because I don't think it's so dramatic that you notice he looks worse, and I think your head plays with you. Did he always look like that, or what is going? Freaks me out.
And they play that. I'll tell you, the cinematography in this is so spot on, because this is probably the best shot, the most normal shot of this toy, right? This toy, when the lights go out, he's lit up in that very ghostly kind of way that they do, where you got the shadows that make it even more creepy. So you can understand the kid being freaked out by this clown. He at one point even goes and covers it up with his jacket, which of course then leads to suddenly there's nothing under his jacket. Where did the clown go? A doll should not be able to get up and move. So this portion of it impacted me so much because as a younger than this, I'd say 3, 4. Well, no, it'd have to be more like 6, 7 years before this. I was every summer. I think I've mentioned this. I'd stay at my uncle's marina. They had a living quarters in the back where my grandparents lived. I'd stay with them for the summer, and I was staying there. And my uncle took us to Cedar Point, Cedar Point would be like Great America, that kind of
Theme park.
theme park. Yeah,
Right.
exactly. So we went to Cedar Park, and one of the things that they Cedar Point, excuse me, one of the things they had there was the people doing caricatures, sketches or
Clown.
paintings
Yeah,
or
make
whatever.
you look funny,
No, of yourself.
Yes,
of yourself.
yes.
So she did a picture of me, and it had this kind of creepiness to it. It bothered me. And I woke up in the middle of the night screaming. It was in my room, the room that I was staying in, kind of like this clown was, kind of looking at me. So I got this caricature of me looking at me, freaking me the F out. And I screamed. It doesn't look like me. It doesn't look like me in the middle of the night. And my uncle comes in and my mother comes in and, okay, calm down. And my uncle says, I'm taking this out of here. You're never going to see this again. I promise you. And in the morning, what happened to the picture? He goes, I burned it. And he showed me in the gravel out back where he had literally lit it on fire, burned it to ash. He says, I didn't know it bothered you that much. I never would have,
Okay.
So when I saw this, I was like, I'm keyed in. I'm with you,
Hey.
kid.
What would you have done if the next night you woke up in the night and the picture was there again?
And the picture's back again. No. I would not be here today. I would be in some hospital somewhere with a jacket that ties in the back. Oh, I'm just saying. That's just.
So I remember a lot of this movie. It is a favorite of mine. It had the 1,000, 1,000, that the thunder when the dad
right to kind of give you the indicator of how close and how far away the storm is. Yeah.
That kid had a cool room. He had all the Star Wars paraphernalia all over the place.
Yes,
Did you notice
he
that?
did. Yes, he did.
Yes.
He also had this big dead tree outside of his window that scared the crap out of him.
Well, trees can be dangerous. If it's dead, it could fall over and go through the window, which
doesn't even need to be dead. We had a situation here where we had a not huge tree, but it was a coniferous tree. And we had been having a lot of rains, and the thing fell over on our house. The roots weren't holding it into the ground, and it fell over on our house. So yeah, I totally get that.
Fortunately, it landed on a corner of our house, like mostly on the what do you call that thing? The water goes in.
The gutter. Yeah, it did. It bent up the gutter. That was an easy fix, at least. No damage to the roof itself. Horror King. Was it a previous stream or earlier in this stream? Big Al Presents was talking about exactly that. Darby O'Gill and the little people kind of freaking him out.
It has a creepy scene at the end with the banshee. The banshee's freaky in that. I'll admit that.
Yep. Exactly right.
Because, of course, he's worried, too, because when the banshee shows up, that's an omen that when someone you love is going to die. And then it's going to be his daughter, and he's like, well, no, please, just take me instead. That's what he says. Yeah. Remember, he's like, please, but yeah.
Oh, Ruby Hoof, thank you so much. I super appreciate that. That is wonderful of you. Giving a gifted membership that went to
Papa Gas 33.
Papa Gas 33. Welcome to membership, Papa Gas. Good to see you.
Now, what's interesting about this movie is Ruby Hoof celebrated 6 months of membership.
6 months of membership. Thank you so much. I so appreciate you. Tonight we are talking about not necessarily all scary movies, but movies that scarred us as children. We probably shouldn't have watched them when we were kids.
So we have the paranormal investigators that are called in, I guess from a university, and of course they're talking about how, we had an investigation where this thing moved like 3 inches on the table without any prompting, and then she just opens up the door to the bedroom, and there's stuff flying all over the place. There's
that is part of the. So as an adult, you do see that although this is in no way a comedy, this is meant to be a suspenseful, dramatic film. There was elements that were humorous and were kind of intended to be.
Oh, really?
kind of in that kind of way.
Really?
You know what I mean?
I don't.
Yeah,
I
oh,
don't find the scene
yeah.
with the guy grabbing some chicken for a midnight snack from the fridge. That
So that was another scene that
no.
really, really bothered me. In fact, his whole story arc. Okay. So let me back up a little
He
bit. So
won't be coming back. That's what they say. Yes.
you have this character here, who is the true spiritualist. She's the true medium. She's your Yoda character. She's actually in tune with what's going on here. And if you just friggin' listen to her, you'd be okay. But nobody does. All of the academic people are excited about it, hoping something happens because they want to prove something. They want to publish. They want to whatever, and so they end up becoming victims, right? And one of them, as you said, he gets up in the middle of they're staying in the house, so that they can record whatever they can record or whatever. And at one point, he just gets up at night, goes into the refrigerator to see what he can find. He finds a piece of chicken. No, it wasn't a chicken. It was a piece of pork. No, it was like a pork chop or something like that. Yeah. The reason being because at one point he turns away from it, and when he looks back, it's moving like a worm, or like a snake.
Remember. I thought it was maggot or something.
Oh no, it gets to that, and then he's like, that's it. He's got the pork chop on the table that's moving, and then he's got the drumstick in his mouth. And as he looks at the meat and he sees it moving, he drops the drumstick from his mouth, and he looks down at the drumstick, and it's exploding out with maggots.
Ew.
Isn't there a scene too where he starts clawing his face, or is that a different?
I'm getting there. I'm getting there. No, same guy. Okay. That's why I said his whole story arc is just messed up. So I'm already grossed out by, because I was always a very picky eater. If there was anything discolored or anything, I can't eat the whole meal. I'm done, right? But I had an experience with kids shouldn't play with dead things, right? I remember finding a dead bird in my yard. It had hit the window and died. And I just went to see it, and I turned it over. And when I turned it over, it just burst open with maggots. Who knows how long it's been there? So I'm seeing this, and I'm thinking of that, and those two things just kind of associated, right? So now he sees this. I just had that in my mouth. He feels sick. He runs to the bathroom. He gets sick in the sink, starts patting his face with water, and he looks at himself in the mirror. And that's when he notices something on his face, and he starts picking at it. And then all of a sudden, he's clawing off his face. He's literally clawing off his face.
Oh, there's like a skull there.
Very, very well. And pieces of his face are falling into the sink and stuff. This, to me, was magnitudes worse than the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark to me. Because this was just, oh my God, it freaked me out. And I wanted out of this theater. I wanted to go. And my mother we started to leave the theater. We got to the back, and she's like, look, I want to see the end of this movie. We'll stand in the back. You don't have to watch the movie. I want to see the end. I paid a lot of money for this. Well, by comparison to today, it wasn't a lot of money, but
it's still hard-earned money. Yes, I get you.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So she wanted to see the end of the movie, so she saw the end of the movie. I didn't see the end of the movie till years later.
I got you.
Actually, when it was on TV,
right,
which cut out some of the
horrific stuff.
But it was. I don't remember. I don't know. 2-3 years later. It came out on VHS, and I was at a Halloween party for some of my school friends, and they were showing that for the movie for the night. And I said, I've seen this movie. I said, at one point, I'm going to have to leave. I'm not going to be able to watch this scene. And as soon as he gets up and he goes to the refrigerator, he goes, I got up and I said, I'm out. I'll be back in about 10 minutes. Problem is, you show weakness, right? when the kids know what it is that scares you, they're gonna. So I come back in, and they've paused it or rewound it just so I can see that scene again. I'm like, oh, you sons of bitches, you know.
Can't show fear, dude.
And
In the 80s, there was no tolerance for it back then, was there?
The kid's mom was like, "That's just not right. You don't do. That's not."
They don't care.
Cool.
They ain't gonna listen to the mom.
They didn't care. No, they didn't care, and they got such a big laugh out of it. Yeah. So, and it is very, very important that I you actually picked. You couldn't have picked a better order to put mine in, because you're kind of seeing a progression in my dealing with scary
picking
movies.
Years they came out, so that's why I did in the order I did.
It's actually working pretty good, because when we get to my next one, it kind of culminates in something. So
let's get
into the other side of the trauma, maybe.
Let's get to my final one.
Yeah.
In a way, this is a movie that traumatized me that I didn't even see, but I kept getting coaxed into watching it. But I'm going to bring it up. Creep Show. Yeah. This movie still freaks me out. Let's be honest here. This is the big Stephen King, George Romero team-up movie. This has want to see Ted Danson being buried up to his neck at the beach and having the tide roll in.
Right. Yeah.
Everything in this movie is placating on a different fear. Let's just say older family members, they kept trying to coax me into watching this when I was like 5. I don't want to. Yeah. And I kind of feel that this was a movie that I had to kind of build my courage to watch. And I did it in an interesting way. My older brother had the graphic novel adaptation, because of course this is inspired by old EC.
It is based on old horror comics.
So they made a graphic novel. So I read the comic book a few times before I dared trying to watch the movie itself. Which I thought was interesting, because would I be able to maybe tolerate the graphic novel better, the comic book, as it's just flat scenes rather than getting into the movie. This movie, though, just everything in it.
I love this. Oh, this animation.
It had little animated interludes, which is supposed to look like the comic book and animated.
Yes.
And
this was brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me see. Oh, yeah. Slosher Fred is right. Creepshow to me is a precursor to HBO's Tales from the Crypt, mostly because of how you have a corpse-like host. If you ever see the episode of Corman's Calamity, that is Take on the Crate. Well, it's interesting you mentioned that, because I was listening to a podcast about this movie recently, and they were bringing up the fact that, they only made the Crypt Keeper a corpse on the show because he was because of the creep, because they said in the comic the Crypt Keeper is not a corpse. And he's right. I did used to read EC Comics, but I built up my courage to watch this. But this movie still freaks me out. There's Leslie Nielsen in it.
Yeah.
I like how you have two undead people who were murdered trying to get revenge. In this it's because they were out in the ocean, so they look all waterlogged. And when they talk, they have an underwater gurgling sound.
Yes. So again, this is another movie that came a little bit later. I was a little bit older. This was another one that we watched on VHS for a Halloween. Did not bother me at all. I felt that there was a lot of elements about this, as tragic and horrific as they were. The stories tended to have a little bit of that
humor.
Well, there was a humor to it. That's true too. That does kind of cut it a little bit. But also, bad guys had a tendency to get what was coming to them.
Yes. Not in all the stories, though.
Not in all the stories, but
most of them. Like Leslie Nielsen's character, he's obviously a bad guy. He's a nut job.
And even in Ted Danson's story, the ultimate story there, you're kind of going, okay, you know.
But you have the first one, Father's Day, which is just the classic corpse comes out of the ground to get revenge on the family. Just horrifying. Yeah. There's a scene where did I include a picture of Ed Harris? I don't think I did. Where Ed Harris falls into the open grave, and then the headstone is slightly moving ever so over him. And I know what you're thinking, the audience. Just get up and get out of there. And I think what he did was he lost the fear strike, as we say in D&D.
Right.
That's how terrified he is. That's why he's paralyzed and can't move.
He was literally paralyzed by fear. Yeah,
this can happen to people. interesting things. Yeah, that's one of the characters, and it's toward the end of one of the segments. I like how you have live actors, but you have like the drawn background, kind of making it seem like a comic origins.
But what that actually is a practical effect. That was a lighting effect on a background behind her that looks like, that makes the whole thing look like it's from a comic book. That is just genius.
Like it's like a crossover between the because you go to a comic book panel, and the comic book panel then fades into the actual actors.
Yes,
but then you have things like this where it's almost like the comic panel and actors are seeping into each other. There is the most horrifying story in this. I don't care what anybody says. For me, it's always going to be the crate, where this college professor and a janitor, they discover this crate from the Arctic expedition from late 1800s in a basement, and they decide, let's open it up. Maybe there's some interesting finds in here, and of course there's something inside the crate, and it eats the janitor in front of it. And you don't even see what the thing in the crate looks like at first.
Very Cthulhu-esque mythos type of thing.
Very old pulp, weird fiction type thing. And it's some kind of an abominable snowman. It just ain't like no abominable snowman I've ever seen. This thing in the crate is freaky. Forget about the xenomorph from Alien. This is the most horrifying creature I've seen in a movie. I'm
telling you, this one struck me at just the right age where I was just getting past the fear of horror movies. We're gonna get to.
I think that might have been for me too, but this movie had such an aura around it, and this was basically this is one of these big tests of my mettle as a child. Well, for starters, I should have been watching this movie at what, 5 or 6? I mean, this was like this is an R-rated movie with horrific stuff. I mean, the thing if you think the thing in the crate's bad enough, and then the cockroaches show up in the next segment. I mean, it's everything.
Oh yeah, that one bothered me, not in a horrific way, but just in
a gross out way. I think they throw that at the end as more just go for the gross out. It's just a wonderful movie. You have
I don't know, maybe it did scare me a little bit, because I know how I react whenever a rad scorpion attacks me in Fallout 4, and it's like, and they're like the least dangerous things in the game, but I'm like, it's a giant cockroach.
But basically, this is in a way a kind of an homage to 1950s American horror as we saw in the comic books, which it has that American horror of the 1950s flavor, which unfortunately got snuffed out because of the censors back then. But it's kind of brought back here,
and code and everything. But
and the 50s and the 80s sort of echo each other in certain ways too. So even though this is taking place in the 80s, there's still some 50s.
It's got that 50s, exactly,
aura around it or something. Maybe that's what I'm looking for. But
sure.
Do you know the sequel? During the first segment, old Chief Woodenhead and late Hal Holbrook's son plays one of the robbers. I didn't know that.
Oh, interesting.
Hal Holbrook, he was in the crate segment. Hal Holbrook is a brilliant actor. I saw him live doing a one-man show of Mark Twain at a theater up in the Northeast, and he was wonderful. I felt like Mark Twain was on the stage. That's how good he was in that role.
There you go.
But no, Creep Show, check it out. But it's freaky stuff, man. It still freaks me out now, even though I know all the things, just because it knows how to tick what bothers you. But I do love the tagline for this movie. It was always the most fun you'll ever have being scared. But I threw this on here because this was a forming movie of my childhood, which I really always knew of it, and I would always I'd go down in the basement and. People would be watching. It's like, gotta leave. It's one of these movies like you had where you wouldn't want to watch the movie when people were watching it.
Exactly.
So this was mine, And now for the final pick of the night.
Yeah. So this is the movie where I actually kind of start dealing with my fear related to horror movies.
Oh, so you and I are sort of the similar, because it was Creep Show.
Yeah, exactly.
I still hadn't conquered them. There's still plenty of movies that freaked me out of the Creep Show, but that was my
Friday the 13th, Part 3, was in 3D, and the poster kind of speaks to that. Oh, by the way, happy Friday the 13th, although for those of you on the right coast, it's now Saturday the 14th. So
yes.
But a new dimension in terror that's playing on the fact that it was a 3-dimensional movie. Now, we've talked about 3D movies before, and chances are that most of the 3D movies you may have seen, if you've seen them in the past 10, 15 years, probably not the same kind of 3D. The kind of 3D I grew up with was the kind where it was coming right at you, right?
Yep.
And there was a movie, probably one of the best 3D scenes I think I remember, was a movie called Treasure of the Four Crowns.
Oh.
It's a pretty obscure adventure film. It's probably out there on Tubi. Look for it. There's this scene where the hero is being held down and the baddie has this hot poker, and he brings it like he's going to burn his eye or something like that. He's bringing it right to and I swear to goodness, you're sitting there with those 3D glasses on, and it's coming right at you, and your eyes cross as you're looking at it, and you see the steam or the smoke or whatever it is
coming off of the
off the end of it. And I swear, I could almost feel the heat because it looked so real, right? And if something is shot at you or something like that, you go to duck because it's like it's really coming right at you. A lot of the movies that I've seen, I'm thinking there was that Alice in Wonderland, the
Johnny
Depp, and yeah, it was done by
Tim Burton.
Tim Burton, right?
Yes.
It was 3D, but it was 3D like a picture box.
Depth of field.
Yeah, depth of field, where the screen back is the 3D.
Yes.
And I'm like, that's not 3D.
Well, that's how they do modern 3D. Okay.
Exactly. 3D to me was it's coming like really right at you. And this was that kind of 3D. So keep in mind that you've got a horror movie that's immersive enough as it is in 2D, and now it's 3D coming right at you.
Can I have a complaint that people filed against this movie because one of the actresses was kind of uppity about them not having nudity in this movie? This could have been the first Friday the 13th movie 3D where you got 3D boobs, basically. She's shaking them in someone's face. That could have been it. This is Shelley, by the way. The most annoying character I've probably seen in a movie, or one of the most.
He was one of the characters. Like, if he gets killed, I'll be happy with it.
This movie cheats you out of his death because he does get killed, but you don't get to see it happen in real time because, of course, it's part of a gag that happens with Jason later.
Right.
I love this. He's in some kind of convenience store, and we have they look like punks from a Death Wish movie, the gang, right. And they say, you
have a hard time believing that these two guys would be in the same gang together, or whatever.
Look, that's what was great about the Death Wish movies. It was an interethnicity racial gang. You just had
right
gang. Yes, it's but yeah, this was And Boomer, you were 5 or 6. You're no Boomer. Geek Flag, I have repeatedly said this on a number of occasions that I am not a baby boomer. I use the term boomer because of the 30-year-old boomer meme, which said Quake was a good game. Like, you're too old that you're not with the kids because you say Quake was a good game. And I thought at the time, you know what? Quake is a good game, so that must make me a boomer.
And I always thought that was fair because people always said I had an old soul. I was born in the wrong generation. So I kind of did.
In some ways, I wish I was a boomer. I could have seen more of the 70s. That might have been fun, but oh
well. You didn't miss much. All
right.
What was it? There was a gas crisis and a flock of seagulls, and that's about it.
As Austin Powers said.
Yeah.
But anyway, you have look at this though. You have them. You have Shelley here, who's You keep thinking
who literally deserved to get his teeth fed
because he kept pranking people throughout the movie.
He was a dumbass. Yeah.
This is the first scene, the iconic mask.
You see, that's right. This was the first time
you see him with the hockey mask.
Hockey mask. That's right.
He wore a burlap sack in the last movie.
This is the setup. He's got a harpoon gun,
and you think it's Shelley pranking again.
Right, exactly. The setup, of course, is for the murder to happen with the harpoon gun, but of course, you get to be the victim because it comes right at you. Now, this one, if you watch it in the modern 2D, you can tell that it's on like a wire coming at you, so it looks very goofy. But when it's coming at you in 3 dimensions, that doesn't matter to you. It's actually friggin' coming at you, and it freaks you the hell out. By the way, I will mention I do have all the Friday the 13th movies on DVD, and the part 3 does come in 3D, not like 3D television HD type thing, but like red green or red blue 3D. So it's got the glasses, just kind of to homage that whole thing. It's not the same, but it's kind of neat.
It came with the DVD, I think. Yeah.
But
you see this, and then
there's the eyeball scene. Yeah, exactly.
I made a point not to include.
Actually, that's a
shocking
different.
scenes.
That's a different eyeball scenes. There's 2 eyeball scenes. This is squash the head, the eyeball pops out at you. There's a scene earlier on where the kids are on their way to Camp Crystal Lake, and the crazy old man,
with the eyeballs, and
he has an eyeball and he
away.
holds it up at you like this. And it was really about that point that I was like, I can't do this. And I was having
your uncle,
my uncle and my aunt, right?
Okay.
And I was sitting between them, and I didn't want to watch this movie, and I said, I just can't. And I was doing this was when I was doing the whole, you watch it through the lattice of your fingers, like this somehow protects you.
Yep.
Honestly, when you're a kid, it does. And my aunt was the one that was kind of goading me, right? She'd be like, oh, everything's fine, you can look. And my uncle would be like, no, trust me, I'll tell you when you can look again. And I realized this was the weirdest dynamic. I expected opposite. I expected my aunt to be the compassionate protector, and my uncle, who was just, I know he was a bully in high school. I know he was. He used to pick on me, and he used to hit me, and toughen me up, kind of stuff.
That sort of
but
thing.
when it came to this horror movie, he was not like that, and I was really surprised by this. I'll get to the story behind that in a bit, but my uncle eventually said, maybe instead of watching this, through your fingers or whatever, why don't you just take the glasses off? I'm like, huh? He goes, try it. He said, nothing's happening. Take the glasses off, see what happens. And it becomes very blurry. 2-dimensional and blurry. And I'm like, oh. He's like, yeah, that's not so bad, right? And honestly, I was like, okay, less immersive, more separated from it. And I am getting a little older, and I'm trying to face my fears. And so this movie was kind of the turning point for me with horror movies. And after this, most horror movies weren't quite so bad, and I would start going back. And then you're starting to get into like Freddy Krueger with the funny one-liners and stuff, which is a whole different kind of
fantasy,
movie.
the sort of the more fantastical.
Yeah.
Chucky, things like
that. Up
that.
until this point, with the exception of, the dead guy coming back and stuff like that, by and large, this kind of movie, the first several movies, you could believe were just a murderer, mass murderer killing on a killing spree. This is the kind of stuff you could believe really could happen. So
people said happened around the campfire, the kid in the woods, right?
Yeah, exactly. The machete and all that. So, but now I'm at that age where I am kind of starting to face my fears and stuff. Look, you were right. This movie, no boobs. I was a little disappointed in that aspect of it. So I was obviously old enough to have.
You got some side boob. That's about it. Okay, not that I'm counting. Sorry.
Look, this was. I was at the age where I was going through Dad's, nudie mags. So the side boob wasn't going to do it for me. But yeah, so yeah, I'm actually starting to get past that the scarring. This one actually had the kind of scarring that was a good scarring. This was the growing up and growing out of that fear kind
of thing, But it's funny you mentioned that building up. You know what I did spend a lot of time around this age doing, though? I wasn't necessarily watching the new horror movies, but I would go back and watch the creature features of old, like the Universal movies or like the Blob, like.
I'll tell you, some of those movies, just taken for at face value, weren't very scary, but they had the gimmicks that were scary. There was a movie called The Screaming Skull.
I remember that one. Yep.
And there was something where you just expected it to be scary. Never really was, but it had you, huh?
If it's called the Screaming Skull, I'm expecting a Screaming Skull.
Right, exactly, exactly right. Yeah, yeah. I remember the marketing about that being, that was one of those ones that went in for the gimmicks, like don't watch this movie if you have a weak heart, and you should have ambulances at the theater just in case, because and you start thinking, oh my god, what's gonna happen? And it's like, oh, okay, yeah, it was just hype. It wasn't all that, but so there is something to be said for those kinds of scary movies. The creature features, and I'll tell you what, the opening for creature features scarier than the movie itself. Just saying. Most of them anyway.
Yes.
But yeah, you're right. I had forgotten that this was the introduction of the hockey mask.
Classic.
Yeah, it was.
All right. But that was because Shelley was pulling a prank where he's wearing a hockey mask and the girl didn't believe him. So when Jason kills Shelley, actually, you don't even see him kill Shelley. You just see him show up and you think it's Shelley again. And you and your audience is full realize, oh, wait, that's not Shelley. And then you find Shelley with his throat slit later on.
Yeah.
It's just lame. Because I wanted him to die horribly, and we didn't get to see too much of it. And of course, you had the hippies too with the weed, which for some reason the kids were bringing 2 middle-aged hippies on the road with them as well.
Well, and this plays into what you get from especially the first movie, but
like pass me the doobie, and they're holding it up close to the screen.
All the kids that get dead are what? They're engaging in sex and drugs.
Bad. You
and what's his name? He's just an obnoxious prankster and stuff. And it's like, okay, you know what? So. And there is that element, right, of inviting the devil in, through sin or whatever. You make yourself vulnerable. It's the pure of heart that are protected. But you stray from the path and you're in trouble. I mean, honestly, that really is kind of the underlying story of Red Riding Hood and the wolf, right? You don't stray from the path. Well, she strays from the path, and that's how the wolf can get her.
Well, what about what do you call it? There's a guy in this movie though that dies on the toilet, right? He owns a convenience store with the rabbits, and he sits on the toilet. I think Jason slices his throat in the.
I don't even remember.
It's a Spirit Aside where we don't know what Jason is up to, and it's because he supposedly died at the end of the second movie, and they go through the whole shebang.
Of course, he supposedly. Well, no, he didn't die. He wasn't even alive through the first movie.
No, but in the second movie he was, and then they did the thing where the girl had to pretend to be his mother, so she puts on the sweater and she's like, "I'm your mother, Jason." And
that was actually, in retrospect, because I didn't see that movie. The first
you didn't have to, because they did it basically a whole recap before the third part starts, because they must have assumed
when I finally saw it. You watch this girl and talk about what do you call it? The last girl or whatever, guys. For all of this modern feminism message, girl boss kind of stuff, I'm sorry. Between the girl in Friday the 13th Part 2, even the first girl that she just survives, right? The second one, she gets smart and protects herself. She overcomes. She adapts.
Yes.
Right? Like a friggin' Marine.
You do.
You got Ripley and the alien, right? You got Laurie Strode surviving and protecting the 2 kids. Not just herself, but the 2 kids, like a good babysitter. Okay? These are tough girls, not all powerful, not Wonder Rays, but just survivors, right? I'm sorry, you don't need the bestest evers that they're doing these days. Those girls were everything feminism was ever meant to be,
Yes.
You look at that kind of girl and you know what? Yeah, that's the kind of girl I want to marry. Someone who's going to throw a clip into the gun and toss it to me, Stand back to back and take out those deadites.
So now that I am done and I have a TTFM, which means ta-ta for now, what do I hit to get rid of the presentation?
What you could do is you can go back to the dynamic scene at the top. That'll bring us up to that'll get rid of the presentation.
Hey, there we are. Look at that. Okay.
There you go.
Cool.
And fun fact, Darby O'Gill and the Little People is one of the only Irish movies that has an accurate depiction of a leprechaun and a banshee. That's actually a very good point. If you dig into the folklore, you're absolutely right. So here's the other thing. Speaking of which, the fae folk, right? The banshee, the leprechaun, fairies. Right? Red caps, etter caps, right?
Okay, yes.
These folk tales, these idea of what the fae folk are and what the fairy world is like, very different from what I think most people think of as fairies. If all you know is like Tinkerbell and think lovely thoughts, and if you believe in fairies, clap your hands. Fairies are scary. Fairies are scary. They are more like aliens, right? Like Close Encounters of the Third Kind, kidnap you and do all kinds of nasty things, bring you back, and you're all effed up and backwards and mutilating That's more the idea of fairies in actual folklore. But anyway. Yeah.
Cool.
But
that wraps it up.
That does wrap it up. So this is so next week Friday there won't actually be a last call. My goal is for there to be, I don't know, some sort of a live premiere of maybe a clip from a Geeky Geezers or something like that.
Brady Bunch, we talked about that for ages.
Yeah, some of those good old days are some great ones. I'm gonna be bringing those back in the clips. Gonna do some of that for next week's Liquid Lunches as well. Everything is on schedule up through the end of Tuesday. Even though Netter and I will be on the road as of Tuesday morning, there is going to be a live from Sparkwood and 21. That's you and Deleted Scenes talking X-Files.
Yeah, we're just going to do one episode. It's a one-time event.
And you're going to be talking about exactly how the X-Files is part of the Twin Peaks cinematic universe.
Sure it is. Sure it is.
I'm joking.
No, it's bad enough, though, they tied Millennium in.
The themes are related.
I want to explain how they are and they aren't.
Of it, yeah. Well, they are.
By the way, you made a great thumbnail because that actually is from that episode. I remember.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. I knew what I was doing.
Yes.
I put thought into these things.
Yes.
But yeah, no, don't take it literally. But there is some connective tissue between, at least thematically, between Twin Peaks and X-Files. That's why you're doing it for Live from Sparkwood and 21.
Yes.
Yeah, no. Horror King's absolutely right. Fairies in Ireland are terrifying. And if you even come to Ireland, I would suggest not pissing them off. Well, that's Netter is a big follower of fairy lore. And look, there is a certain element of they are figures of nature. Understand and respect them. Don't,
as you should with any mythical creatures.
Yeah, just be very, very careful. We're not talking demons, right? But at the same time, we're not talking angels either here. We're talking forces of nature that need to be respected, right?
Dragons.
Like dragons. That's absolutely true. Graham Hancock believes fairies and UFOs are the same thing. That there actually is something in that. The whole idea, and again, don't take it literally. Don't people say these things. It's kind of like who's that YouTuber that interviews people? I'm forgetting his name. Who actually interviewed Graham Hancock? In fact, saying he believes in dragons. No, he doesn't literally believe in dragons. These are people who hear things on the internet and take a little snapshot and go off on tangents. That's not the case. For example, Graham Hancock did not say that aliens built the pyramids or some stupidity like that. You need to actually read his books. You need to actually pay attention to what the man himself actually said. Quit believing what people say about him and take out of context. But yes, the idea that there might be something to this idea of UFOs, of fairies. So if you look at the mythology of the changeling when it comes to fairies, and then you start looking at alien abductions, kind of sound very much like the same story when you really, really get into it. And when you take folklore across the board and you start looking at similarities, and you look at encounters with angels, encounters with aliens, and encounters with fairies. And by angels, I mean angels or demons, right? Regardless of the mythological framework of them, there are very, very similar things. And you start to wonder, might there be some element of truth that people are dressing in their own folkloric understanding of something? When you go from Gaelic folklore to Judeo-Christian concepts, to modern sci-fi-ish type things, to an even higher kind of Cthulhu-esque type, multi-dimensional, pseudo-scientific understanding.
Timey-wimey.
Wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey.
Okay.
Multiple dimensions type things, just Shakespeare himself said, there are more things in heaven and on earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. Just because you haven't experienced it doesn't mean there isn't something to it, right? Just saying.
Yes. So yeah,
no, I like Graham Hancock. Not saying he's always right, but I love his thinking. Let's face it, he is a better scientist than many scientists today. All he says is, look, we're supposed to be allowed to ask questions, right? And just because he makes a bizarre hypothesis doesn't mean it's not predicated on something. So look, all of us who lived through 2019, 2020, 21, who wanted to make a reasonable question about, hey, do you think there might be something to this disease that people are talking about that might not be quite going along with the narrative that the pharmaceutical companies and the politicians want you to believe? There might be something going on here. And then suddenly you start hearing legitimate science being published in other countries going, hey, take a look at this. No. Don't look at that science. Just look at the science from, the big pharmaceutical companies that want you to take the product that they're putting out. Ignore that science. Believe this science. And the scientific community is going, that's not how science works. But boy, you try saying that and you're an apostate. Be gone, Satan. Believe the science. You anti-vaxxer, you.
Anyways, let's not go down that rabbit hole again. Because we know how certain YouTube people are about it.
Well, just saying. But all I'm saying is that I got a friend who recently got to meet Graham Hancock,
There you go.
who will defend Graham Hancock and then throw out a line like, but I'm not an anti-vaxxer. Well,
There we go.
he and I have agreed and disagreed on many, many things, and that's one of the things I love so much about our friendship. And I think he'll tell you the exact same thing. So it reminds me I have to go check my prostate. Well, we're getting to that age, aren't we? Aren't we, Geek Flag? All I'm going to say is if you don't use it, you lose it. And I'm not telling you exactly how it needs to be used. Just saying.
Anyways, what you got going on tomorrow? Movie night, huh?
Tomorrow on Big L Presents, talking about scary creature features that aren't so scary because they were so low budget, and you go, WTF. Celebrating the life of a dear friend of ours, Evelyn Hampton, who enjoyed a good, bad monster movie. She actually introduced Netter and I to many of these, and became a big part of the community of Big L Presents Films with Friends, Netter's Network Retro Cinema. She and Big L really bonded over those kinds of movies. Netter's like, yeah, wow, some of them were painful, but we watched them. And as Nate often points out, sometimes horrible movies watched with friends in the right attitude can be a lot of fun. So we're going to be remembering, because it's Monster March over on Big L Presents Films with Friends, we're going to be watching a movie that definitely, if she was still with us today, Evelyn would be co-hosting with us on that one. So that's tomorrow night. I haven't seen this movie before, but kind of looking forward to it. Tomorrow night at 9 Central, 10 Eastern on Big L Presents Films with Friends. Let's get together and enjoy that. WTF, Troy, how do you and Netter be spending your nights? None of your business. When people say get a room, we got a room. We got a whole house. None of your business. But low budget horror movies are almost always fun to watch.
It's like, sweetie, I think you need to go talk to your mommy and daddy and say, how do babies get
How
made?
are babies made? Yeah, right. Because obviously I never was able to get it right, so I obviously didn't learn the lesson appropriately. But anyway, so that's tomorrow night. Sunday night, what do we got coming up, Boomer, on
we got some news, a certain return of a certain game called Seventh Guest.
I saw that article you sent me. I'm like, oh, this is, I kind of had the same reaction I do with a lot of movies. I'm like, oh, I love that. Could be done so well, could also be done so badly.
And apparently the Bride movie that came out recently was a huge bomb, so we're going to talk about that, and got some other things to talk about, so it'll be fun.
No, I probably missed that, Horror King. Sorry, last comment about the Banshee, but yeah, I am looking forward to that, and then of course you are going to be pressing all the buttons for Geeky Geezers just to make sure that you can manage it on your own without me.
Do it myself.
Yep. So, and I'll talk you through setting up the stream, but I will not be here for the following week. Although Boomer and I are going to be hanging out in Florida, he'll already be home for Sunday night.
Yeah, I'll be home.
When Netter and I are actually still on the road driving. So Boomer's going to be well, he'll pull in somebody else to back him.
Yes.
So you're going to be running the show.
I'll be taking care of it. Yeah.
But yeah, so that is Geeky Geezers. There won't be a Doctor Who this Sunday, but guys, looks like there were two, and we talked about this on Thursday Things last night because FKC 2000, I forget his number, but we also call him Tim. let us know about a Doctor Who discovery.
Oh yeah.
Two Doctor Who episodes that thought missing have shown up. Two from season 3. We haven't gotten there yet.
We'll talk about that on Sunday because it's one of my
But by the
stories,
time
yeah.
we get there, hopefully I'll have access to those, so that we will be playing those instead of the old telesnaps, which we just kind of got through with Marco Polo, and that was kind of a challenge. I can tell you that the Banshee is very real, and I have one attached to my family. That's horrifying, Horror King. But that's what's scary about it, is because it is a personal situation. The Banshee, the folklore behind the Banshee, is not in and of itself scary, but more the message it represents, that a tragedy, usually a death, is coming to your family. That's what's scary about the Banshee. So, yeah. So then Monday, regular Monday, there will be a members' night at the movies. Looks like the movie you guys have chosen is National Lampoon's Vacation, in honor of the trip that Netter and I are taking, not to Wally World, but to Epic Universe, and maybe a little bit Disney. We'll be at what is that Disney park? Streets of Disney, I think it's called, or something like that. Disney Springs, right, where you can go do the shopping and stuff. We'll probably be walking around.
You don't
there
need tickets for
one
that.
day. You don't
just
need
walk
tickets
around.
for it or whatever. So we'll probably be stopping in there this weekend. But we will be spending the day on Saturday, I think, at Epic Universe.
Mhm.
Anyway, we're driving down to Florida, kind of cross country, just like the Griswolds. Are the Griswolds from the Chicago area? The Midwest? Is that their story?
I believe so, yes.
They're on their way to, a fictionalized version of like a Disneyland type of thing. Well,
Yes.
we're going down, instead of going to Disneyland, we're going to Disney World, kind of a thing.
Close enough.
So we'll be celebrating that on Monday as we're getting ready to get on our own holiday road, right? And then the following day, of course, Tuesday, when we're actually leaving, you're going to be doing the Live from Sparkwood and 21 with deleted scenes,
Yes.
followed by a live premiere of a Sherlock Holmes feature that I've already set up and scheduled to go live in the regular slot, 9:00 Central, 10 Eastern. Deleted promised he'll be forwarding you just like usual, but it is a pre-recorded segment of a Sherlock Holmes story from his later case book, which was not actually filmed by Granada, but I've put together a feature for you that will be a live what's it called, live premiere, but it's
Right.
going to be staying up as a standalone video. You guys, if you don't catch it live, you'll still be able, but you want to be there live so that you can interact with the chat like you always do.
Gotcha.
But if you miss it, it'll still be there for you to enjoy, I hope. That's Tuesday. But then, like I said, there will be no liquid lunch, but there will hopefully be videos going live in that schedule. To they will be Geeky Geezer's good old days from past streams.
Mm-hmm.
So no Thursday things this week. We talked about that last night, and no last call next week, unless, and this is a long shot because I tried this last year and it didn't work out. Maybe we could do a brief, live, hey, this is where we're at tonight. This is what we're doing. But I don't know if
I
that's
am bringing a selfie stick with me. I got it for free. It's the only reason why I have it. I would never buy
We're
one.
gonna see what we can do. Maybe a live broadcast from the Geeks and Gamers after party. Don't know if that'll happen or not. But again, that has to do with Wi-Fi and my technical abilities with YouTube. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But we'll be back on schedule then the following Monday night when I get back into town. So there you go. Yeah, I'm sure that Deleted Scenes will be talking about the Oscars. I know that's happening on Sunday. He usually has his show about that. So there you go. I think we're all caught up. I think that's everything. Did I miss anything, Boomer?
Nope, that's it. So we'll see you next time.
Yeah, and keep an eye on the community tabs for my channel and Netters Network. We'll be telling you blow by blow where we're at in Florida, what we're doing, and where you can meet up with us if you're in town. So yes, take care, everyone. Have a fabulous weekend. That is the message of Last Call. That's what we're here for, is to kick off the weekend.
Yep, and we're going to have so much fun in Florida
the following week. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, he says I'll likely be touching on the
awards. It's like if any of you guys know, like absolutely for certain, you guys are going to be like in Florida, in Orlando, and it's like I really want to meet up with you guys. Send me a DM on Twitter, and I will give you my cell number.
Yep.
I'm not putting it like in
public,
on the community page or anything because I don't want my phone number just out there for anybody. But
Boomer, you have our numbers, right?
I do.
And I sent that to Pops as well because he's supposed to meet up with us.
So send me a DM and I will give you my cell number. Because, I'd love to meet up with y'all.
And I know you are... Did you say you're staying in the same hotel we are, Boomer?
I will be, yes.
And Gary and Andy will be in that same hotel. So it's one of those things where once you're in the hotel room, you need to know our room and you can call us right there.
I know they're going to be staying at the same hotel because Gary asked me, what's that hotel?
What hotel were we staying in last year? Dude, you're the one that set us up last year.
And then he goes, I couldn't remember, so I hadn't booked this yet. And it's like,
yeah.
You need to book your rooms before they're all sold out.
And Troy and Netters try to have fun, but keep it legal. Oh, yeah. We almost ran afoul of the law last year. I'll talk about that probably in another stream. But just remember, you cross state lines and the laws change. The local laws change. And thank you so much, Lady Miss. Probably over on Netter's channel with that farty fox. You are always so encouraging.
I love the farty fox.
That is always
He's
fun. So, dude, I'm done. How are we going to close out this stream, Aged Boomer?
Well, I am going to hit something. Hold on here. So I scroll.
What are you going to hit? Hopefully, it's not me or Netter.
The outro.
Right. So yeah, you say some sort of wrap it up kind of thing, and then you hit outro. And then I'll tell you in the backdrop.
So you'll have a great week, and just you know where to find us. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Good night. You're all.
Good night, ladies.
Good night, sir.
Hit it, sweetheart.
The neon lights are fading. Closing time is near. Whispers in the corners, secrets shared sincere. The bartender's polishing the final glass. Time slips away like moving through the grass. Last call for alcohol, make your dreams come true. One more round, friends, from me and you. Let's toast to the night, to the stories we've spun. Here's to the laughter and to what's begun. The shadows are dancing as we linger still. Every clink of a glass, a memory to distill. corner of the world. The jukebox serenades us with a final tune, crooning to the lonely and the lovers under the moon. With every soft note, the end draws ever near. But in this fleeting moment, there's nothing to fear. Last call for alcohol, make your dreams come true.